Chuck Barris stages in Hollywood, California. And here's the star of the show and your host,
yeah, cause girls is players too. Keep it playing, baby.
I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of the stars make me dream.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
That pulls us all in. It's not coming through on my screen.
Thank you for joining us for episode 131 of the Gamers Initiative podcast. Here we are again, your host, Elite Gaming Guru, that's me. AshtreyGaming, that's him. I think he's there.
Well done.
Red Dead Panda. Cypher. Silent Cypher's with us. Welcome, mate. I've lost all my screens. I can't see it.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
me.
joining us. I cannot see you at the moment.
Yeah, how many times have you been on this show?
There you go.
Is this your second or third?
Twice. Actually, so with that being said,
Sorry.
I do owe Elite an apology. Because last time I thought it was him that messed up the time. It was totally me. I converted it over, but then I forgot to take it out of military time. So I was still thinking it was like 2 hours later. So that was all me. That's my
That's all right.
special moment. But yeah, thanks for having me again.
That's fine. What's military time? Is that?
So that's your 24-hour time.
Oh, well.
So out here, yeah, because out here we usually just do our 12-hour increments, and then we kick it AM to PM.
Oh, right.
What's Zulu time?
Oh, okay.
What's
I
that?
think.
Is that a
Zulu
thing?
time.
Yeah.
Zulu time?
Isn't that a thing? No?
I don't know what it is.
I don't know on that one.
Okay. I'm going to Google it now.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
You can do that. Military time, yeah, that's just standard. Everyone uses that in the UK, in Europe. I think in Europe, I think
Yes.
everyone uses 24-hour clock. Yeah,
It's way more common for everywhere except for Utah, or except for the US, not just Utah.
Yeah, it's very easy to use.
Yeah.
It's very makes things simple. You have to put AM and PM basically, so it's terrific. But how you been anyway, Silent? How you been? You been good? Been looking after yourself? Been moisturising?
Yeah, definitely moisturizing, right? You gotta moisturize. Gotta keep that really youthful little baby face in check, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm
Ladies
doing
love
good, man. Doing good. Just happy to be into the weekend. It's a long weekend for me, so I always enjoy starting it off with some podcasting. I was hanging out with Boom and those guys this morning. I'm hanging out with you guys this afternoon, and then I'm going to be jumping into playing some more gaming too, and drinking some beers later. So it'd be good.
What are you going to play?
So I actually just beat Mafia 2 yesterday. I had never beaten the Mafia games in the past. I don't know if they came out when other games came out or whatever happened, but I missed them. And so then when those remasters came out just like a year ago, 2 years ago, I picked those up and I finally started working through them. and I've tried to get better this year because like we hadn't. I'll just bring it right out there. I'm kind of a fraud, I feel like, because we ended up doing like what was our top 5 games that we completed on our show towards the end of this last year, and I realized I don't think I actually beat 5 games last year. I'm pretty sure I jumped in and played a lot of games, but I don't think I actually brought that many to completion, which made me feel kind of like
completing
a
the
rookie.
story when you say completion. Or
Yes, yeah, like completing the campaign or whatever. So I'm trying to dive into the backlog this year because I feel like I haven't done that for a while. So it's been refreshing. I've been enjoying going into some of those campaigns.
That sounds lovely. Been watching anything interesting?
Pretty. Have you,
What was that? Sorry.
Have you been watching anything interesting?
Oh, no, I actually haven't been watching much. Just mainly YouTube videos, podcasts when I'm at work, when I'm working on like spreadsheets and stuff, just like sit there and listen to stuff. But
So it's not
that's-
monotonous. I do that all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, it's
time
the
difference
only
means
way
I'm
to go.
At work watching podcasts, like
Yep.
honestly.
Yeah, that's like I've had people a couple times that were like, "We didn't see you in the chat," and I'm like, "Oh, I wasn't in the chat, but I was listening to you. I promise. Like I'm there. I'm not there, unfortunately." But yeah, no, it's been good. It's been good. I've just been watching a bunch of like YouTube stuff, TikTok with my son. We did actually watch a little bit of Austin Powers yesterday, my son and I, which was quite an
oh,
experience.
that's old.
Yeah, that's
dated now, I
It's an
imagine.
experience, yes.
Yeah.
that's a weird
Everyone
throwback
knows.
to go back to.
It's in the, in the 20s.
It's like me
Yeah.
when I love watching
Wow.
that, and I also love watching Johnny English. Like number 2's my favorite.
Oh yeah,
Johnny.
yeah.
It's
I'll have
good
to
shit.
add that one to the list too. Yeah.
Maybe
Yep.
Groening
Yeah.
gets it a lot.
Yeah, what happened to Mike Myers? He just faded away, didn't he?
He's
He
done a whole heap of things.
Yeah, but nothing
He
as
did,
big
he
as that.
did, but since then he just
Yeah.
vanished, didn't he? Yeah,
Oh,
He kinda
did
st-
a lot of
he kinda
voice
stepped
work,
back.
though, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
he
that's
still does some
I heard-
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I heard he was really hard to get on with. He was a really hard person to work with. That's what I heard. Apparently.
That's unfortunate. It always makes it sad when you hear that from like when you hear that about like your favorites, right? Like you look at
It's
someone
not-
like
I mean,
uh,
working with
some-
Elite Silent, you know, he is a diva.
hey, we all have one. We all have one. We have a crazy
handsome
Louis.
diva.
That's our diva.
Crazy Louis.
Not a handsome diva, Elite.
No, no, Louis is also not a handsome diva, but I mean he's handsome in his own way. It's all good.
I was just going to jump in with one of my fun facts. And
Here we
Simon
go.
will know this. Look at the mask behind you. The mask of that's Jason. That
Jason
was based on
Voorhees.
William Shatner, wasn't it? Yeah,
What's that?
that was based on William Shatner. That's actually William Shatner's face.
Oh, of the Michael Myers ones.
Yeah,
Yes,
Michael Myers,
yes. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen that original mask. Dude, it's
Yeah,
creepy.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it's almost creepier than what they ended up doing with this. Just because
Yeah.
like the skin tone looks funky, the eyes were like much more narrow and stuff.
You
But
should
yeah,
see Elite without his mask on. Whew. Keep it on, Elite. Keep it.
God damn,
keep
Red.
it on for the sake of the chat.
Red's seen a lot more.
I saw your body on the intro video. But yeah, no, that was an interesting one for them because they actually went in, they cut out like the eyes, and they did a bunch of work on it to try and make it not look exactly like Shatner.
Yeah, yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, and that mask, like,
Yeah.
I think it's one of the
I
horror
think they
masks
succeeded
that's,
a little
Yeah.
too well.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I would prefer it to look like him.
I wonder if he took it.
If
Um,
he took, oh, like if he
wonder if-
tried to sue for it.
Yeah, or if he did, or if he was disgusted by it, or if he actually sort of was all up for it and thought it was quite funny. He seems quite a likable character, William Shatner, so I can imagine he was sort of on board with it and thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like someone who would have even really cared. Like he's
exactly,
he's so far up in like doing his own stuff. I don't think he probably even cared. He's just like, that's great.
Illegal? Oh, did he Crane?
Oh yeah.
He was hilarious. Oh, I loved him in that.
Did you ever hear his Christmas album? Sorry.
Probably not.
No. I know he did sing though, but yeah,
When-
I listened to his stuff.
When you guys are done with this, if you get a moment and you're doing chores or something, look up his Christmas album and listen to it. It
Worth a
will.
listen?
Oh, it's terrible, and it's terrible in like all the best ways. Like it's definitely worth listening to. So
Worth a bit of satire.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know.
So,
Elite, what have you been playing?
Right, I've been playing Starfield. I've been playing a lot of Starfield recently, and that's all I've been playing really.
Is that your new code?
Last week, I'm not really going to play Power World yet. Yeah, a little bit of the finals. Did you guys ever play the finals?
I want to. I've got it installed, but I just don't want to play it by myself.
Okay. I've been playing it myself. I'll play with you. I've been playing it on my own, but you can play it on your own just to boost
Nobody
your
clip that.
character up.
Nobody clip him saying he'll play with me.
Done. Too late. It's already on Twitter.
it's already out.
I'm gonna lay in bed touching
There's
myself.
some very
tonight, listening
risky
to
footage of something else.
Question for you, Elite. Did they?
Oh.
Is it only team-based type of like multiplayer types, or? Okay.
Yeah, it's 3-on-3. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
And
See,
so.
Three.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I jumped in real quick. I tried it, and I was like, this could be cool, but you'd have to have a really good group, right?
Yeah.
And I prefer being able to jump in and like lone wolf it on stuff like that in Call of Duty. So
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. I do that. I play like a heavy guy, and sometimes you get people that run off and just do. I run off and I know what I'm doing now. And when you've got newbies, you tend to just let them get on with their own thing, and you just run off and do your own thing. I'd go for the objectives more so than just you get some people. As always, in all these games, when there's objectives, you always get someone goes off and just tries killing people. And you think, just go for the objectives, man. So, but yeah, it does help being in a group where everyone's talking, but I've not been in one of those yet, but I can imagine it does. But you do sometimes, like all games, you get into a group and everyone knows what they're doing. It's quite sort of fun then when everyone works as a team, even though you're not communicating, talking.
When you talking about teamwork like that makes me think of like Destiny raids.
yeah,
Like when you get a team that actually knows what they're doing, it was great. When you didn't, it was like you would be hours and hours in a raid, and you were like, "I'm going to kill this stuff," and everyone in the group.
It's nice when you find one of those teams there where people know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you think, oh yeah, I could just play this for hours, and then they will leave after the game. You think, oh. So yeah, but anyway, but it's good. Give it a go. And then you've got this 3-on-3. So you have so it'd be 3 versus 3 versus 3, and all in all, and that's just general game. But then there are competition matches where there's 5 teams all versus each other, and then it goes down to 3 teams, and then 2 teams, and then the winner. And it's like a breakdown thing, like a pyramid sort of league thing. You have to compete in. You have to win games, go up the league, and then you win and win loads of money and loads of stuff. So,
okay,
yeah,
that's interesting.
But otherwise, yeah. So that I think you need to talk in, because I played that and that is much more competitive and a lot harder. So obviously people in that know what they're doing. So you probably need to be on mic for that. But yeah, I'll be happy to jump in and play with anyone, because it gets boring playing with noobs and playing with people who don't know what we're doing. But anyway, yeah. So got Red. What have you been playing then? Go on, tell us. Don't take too long.
Dragon's Dogma. My character's like level 91. So just kind of spamming that, playing like bit of Black Island DLC in that. And watching any bit of Dragon's Dogma 2 content I can get. Like, honestly, I'm so excited for that game. I have been playing what you can see on screen, which is which is oh yeah, why can't I think of what it's called?
Turnip Boy robs a bank.
Robs a bank. Yeah. This is like the first lot. I've unlocked so much more, and I've almost gotten through a perfect run in the game. So hopefully I'll get there. But yeah, saying it's probably my internet. Thanks. I blame you, Ashtray. I blame you. No, it's probably just needing some other stuff fixed on my but yeah. That's really what I've been watching like some TV shows and such. I started watching like 1883, which honestly just made me want to play Oregon Trail again because I used to love playing that growing up. Oh, very depressing though watching 1883 though, but hardcore reminds me of that game to no end. So many people died in that game if you just didn't play it well.
Yeah. You know, they just brought out a new version of that too on Xbox.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It was I think it was like a month, maybe 2 months ago. They just brought out a new Oregon Trail on Xbox.
On Xbox, like full console.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Kane.
Yeah, it's got like I think it's still, if I remember correctly, it's like the 2D, but it's got more visual effect and stuff. Like there's a lot to it now versus what it was.
Yeah, I don't know what version I was playing on, but I'm pretty sure it was like on a Packard Bell PC before they got bought by what? Is it HP who bought them?
Yeah. Yep.
Hewlett Packard, yeah. Hewlett bought Packard Bell, but yeah, that's what I played the old one on from forever ago. Thanks. Who's falling asleep? Come on.
So mean. Dude,
I'm used to it.
Oregon Trail was so good. Oregon Trail was so good as a kid. Like, it was always, I don't know, maybe it was concerning that we were all so excited about the fact that our people kept dying from like dysentery and cholera and stuff. It was, I enjoyed it.
It was a good time. It was a good time. I learned so much about what life was like back then in the States. We didn't have that very clearly in New Zealand. All right. Ashtray, have you had a chance to tell us what you haven't been doing? Because I heard you're a fraud before the show.
Yeah, big fraud. Haven't been gaming very much the last couple of weeks, really. Just jumping in and out of games a little bit. Haven't played Palworld for a while because the pals weren't fighting and stuff, and I was getting pissed off with it, so I gave that up for a while. I thought, let it go through a few updates, and then I'll jump back into it. But yeah, just been jumping in and out of Call of Duty Black Ops, the 360 version 1 and 2. So I thought, you know what, I want those physical because I didn't have them, so I got them, picked them up recently through eBay. Go Mecha Ball, that's on Game Pass. That's a cool little sort of 2.5D sort of shooter thing. That's really cool. I suggest you guys jump in and have a go at that. Other than that, I've been watching the Meltdown on Twitter. It's been extremely
epic.
It's been fucking massive.
Yeah.
And still there's Fallout going on.
It's mad.
There's still
weird,
Fallout going on at the moment, especially if you have
We'll
a
get
look
on to that though.
Tim Dog's.
Final topic, everyone.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
So
We'll get there.
That's me.
Stick around. It's the rantiest topic of the day, I think.
Absolutely. And I don't have to rush off anywhere today, so let's do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll just actually jump in as we're talking about TV and stuff. No, I was just going to say.
Someone make a snoring noise for him, please.
No, I was just going to say I did watch the watching Disney thing. I watched the Marvels. Has anyone seen that?
You watch
Marvels?
Wait, which Marvels?
Yeah, the Marvels.
Oh, the Marvels with the ensemble of
film.
Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and
ensemble of characters no one cares for.
Yeah, exactly.
So why would you watch it then?
Yeah, let's get some characters nobody really cares for and put them in a film together.
Is it on Disney Plus yet?
It was the best thing. I'm not sure. The best thing about it is the end credits. That's the only decent thing about it.
I love Brie Larson, so that is the only reason why
none of the Marvels are in it.
That's why I want to watch
Oh.
Madam Web, but because I also love her. Like, that
That's,
chick.
what's the point of that? That's gonna be awful as well. That's not good. That's gonna be, yeah.
It isn't even out yet. You haven't even seen
It's going to be awful anyway.
It's gonna be terrible.
It's another film nobody cares for. They shouldn't make. They should be making these films about characters.
They're just trying to cash in.
Yeah.
They're trying to gash in instead of cash in. Gash in.
Yeah.
I see what you did.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're
Gash
insinuating.
power. Is that what it is? Gash power?
It's sad to see what they ended up doing though, because they had such a good trajectory there for a while. They had so many good Marvel movies. They had some really good Star Wars ones. Like everything was rolling like on full cylinders, and then they shit the bed in just a glorious way, and they continue to. It's been I don't know. It's been shocking. Like I kept hoping they weren't going to mess up Daredevil. And it feels like they're trying to be like, yeah, we're not going to do any more Daredevil. And I'm like, stop it. Just do what you did for the first couple and just leave it be. Like, just let them do what they want to do with it. But Disney can't help but do that.
Netflix Daredevil.
It's almost as someone inside just trying to kill them.
Yeah.
It's like the film's not doing well, the series is not doing it, everything's just dying and just losing the money, but they just keep doing it. It's as if they're
I
learning
think they
nothing.
needed to give it a breather, but I guess they wanted to cash in on the actors because they don't stop aging. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
could just
It'd be too late.
pause them and put them in like cryo cell to some
Pull an
degree,
Austin
and then
Powers
bring them
and just
out
put
when
him
you want
in-
them to do when you want them to do another Marvel movie. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, I'd say I agree with RSJ fan. I think it's actually the Star Wars, which is surprising. The Star Wars stuff is actually better than the Marvel stuff at the moment. But yeah, I think the
Well, I
Marvel
think
stuff's
there's only
really
one real
awful.
Star Wars one which was really, really good, and that's Andor out of the TV series. That one. I mean, Mandalorian's
yeah.
great, but I think
Oh, yeah,
Andor
Mandalorian.
takes the cake.
Really? Oh, okay.
Andor was fantastic.
I've started
Absolutely
watching that,
fantastic.
but yeah. Okay.
Have to watch it.
And I watched that. What's that on Netflix? That Griselda, is it? Griselda. It's quite good.
Topics.
Yeah, no,
Come on.
yeah, let's get on.
Yeah.
Go on in. Right.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
topic number one.
One.
I'm not sure if that's a fart or topic number one. Veteran Final Fantasy developers leave Square Enix to make their own JRPG, and it's coming to Xbox and PC. Yes, so actually I didn't even read that part of it. I didn't realise I was doing that. So yeah, veteran Final Fantasy developers have left Square Enix and are making a game for Xbox and PC. They've obviously had enough of the success of Final Fantasy 16 on PlayStation, and PlayStation keep locking down their games, and they thought, fuck this, we're going off and just doing our own shit. Yeah, let's do our own success. Let's go somewhere else. This is just bullshit. And so artists and studios have revealed Lost Helden, a new JRPG they are developing with former Final Fantasy and Gravity Rush developers. Lost Helden is a JRPG featuring a unique hand-painted art style, an epic storyline, and a combat system combining strategy and action. It's scheduled to release in 2025 for Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, PC, Steam, Epic Game Store, fridges, and microwaves. So,
Microwaves.
what are your opinions on that, guys? You just call that joke. Yeah, so what's your opinion on that, guys? Veterans all just jumped ship and gone left the power. Oh, I thought you just all jump in. Go on, I'll pick someone. I'll pick you then, Ashtray. Ashtray, I choose you. Just
Oh
throw you-
god. Well, I can tell you that I don't give a fuck. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm not a Final Fantasy gamer. I've
Square
never
Enix.
played a Final Fantasy game ever, and never intend to. So
But Square Enix
this-
is such
But
a
it's the
successful
Final Fantasy.
development
Like,
team.
there's no other fantasy games out there. These are the final ones we're ever gonna
The
get
final
to play.
ones. The final. This is the final.
This is the final one.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
We were talking about Final Fantasy 50.
yeah, exactly right. Like,
There's our Silent Cypher because he knows what he's talking about. Silent, what's your opinion on the whole thing? Are
I hope
you
he
gonna
doesn't care
be
as-
upset that veterans have left Square Enix to form their own game that they're going to make multi-plat and yada yada? Or would you rather more remasters from Square Enix?
Too soon.
Yeah.
For me personally, I kind of feel the timing's a little weird because the management has changed recently, and they opened up very willingly to like collaborate with Xbox and get out there and actually work with people other than just Sony. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is probably the best time to be in the Square side of things because like your games will actually reach more people, and they've acknowledged that like locking it down just to PlayStation has not been a good move. Like they just are not making their money back. So the timing's a little weird because it's like, well, if I mean they must have had something probably planned far before that happened, before that change happened. So this is probably a shift that didn't happen overnight. It's something they've obviously been like gestating for a while. But it feels like Square's like in a better spot now. It seems like if you were going to be with them, this would be a better time to stick around. So you like literally are leaving right as it seems like the uptick is finally starting to happen for Square. That being said, I'm glad that people are going off and making something other than a Final Fantasy because to go to Ashtrey's point, I give zero shits about Final Fantasy. And and
Great to riff on that
realistically,
one.
like
I kind
I
of agree.
would be just fine if the last Final Fantasy we got was officially the final fantasy because I'm done with it. Like
The Final
have
Fantasy.
have some damn creativity or something. Like you keep putting on Final Fantasy's name because obviously it's going to sell because that's got a trusted following. I get that. But I don't care. Like make other games. Make other things. Make different IPs. Like I just feel like this one's been driven into the ground so hard. It's like Pokemon or like Mario, right? Yeah, they're cool. They're cool, but we've been playing the same thing over and over for how many decades now?
30 years.
Yeah. The basically the story never changes. Oh, he's out there to get Princess Peach again. Oh, there's a bad guy. Surprise, it's Koopa or something. Like it's the same thing over and over again. Like have some creativity and bring some creativity to the industry. So I do think that is a benefit of this is maybe they can get away and they can actually bring us something that we're interested in.
Agreed.
I would agree.
Red, what do you think?
I've never really cared for Final Fantasy games. My brother used to
crash it.
play them, and I watched him playing them growing up, and I just never cared for them. So never was going to move the needle for me. I mean, I guess I'm not sure what I haven't done a lot of research around like their MMO, the Final Fantasy 14 version of, I guess, that universe. I think that's probably something that interests me more than their actual standalone single player games that they've got. But I am also of the mindset that they need to go out, and I think it's indicative of just maybe Square not being as great as Square used to be. The writing's on the wall. They've made some changes in some other spaces. But yeah, just go make something else. I would be happy for them to go make something else. I'm just looking at if it's been done before, how can we make a different version or different variation of the same type of game or something. I'm talking about Capcom did it. They did a great job with Dragon's Dogma. They took some inspiration from a whole different load of things, and then that pawn system, very intelligent. It like took inspiration from Monster Hunter with the size of the monsters in there, climbing on them, all of that sort of stuff. And they made a great first game. And I feel like we need a little bit more ingenuity and some like creative license within the industry because it's very stagnant. All we're doing is getting reskins of different variations of games, and you can see that that's why so many games are failing. So I think go out, go strike out on your own, see what you can come up with. And I think it's nice that they're looking at making the game for PC and Xbox. Yeah, it needs to happen. We need more JRPGs on that platform because diversity of players is important. So yeah.
Yep. Elite?
Yeah. What? What, bro?
What, bro?
We
Did
would
I
like
force-
your opinion.
about this?
Do you have one?
Yeah.
$5. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I thought I spoke. Didn't I? Did I not spoke? Yeah,
You
I don't
introduced
care
the
about
topic,
Square Enix games
but-
really. I hate Final Fantasy games, but it's Square Enix in general. I think they're a massively overrated developer. I don't know why they get so much praise. I don't think they actually produce anything that's any good.
Any
I think they're
substance?
way overrated. What do they actually do that's decent?
They got rid of all
they
their
bring out
Western
games like Final
RPG
Fantasies,
studios,
which
like-
rate really well because the media seems to, I don't know, gush after them for whatever reason. But no one actually plays them and buys them. They don't actually sell well at all, they just vanish. They just fade away really quickly. All of them do. And so it's just massive. I think the only one done well is the online thing.
They
And
got
that's
rid of
really
Crystal
only in Japan
Dynamics
that hits
and they got
Japanese
rid of
audience.
Eidos Montreal just because they weren't performing in line with where they wanted to. And it's like, well, neither are your studios that you seem to just
Exactly.
ignore that
Yeah,
fact.
your studios suck.
So, yeah.
I think it's a nostalgia
You keep
thing.
making the same games. Yeah,
Really?
it is.
I think
Zelda
that's
did
what
forever
gives
get
it
fell out.
the longevity and the media still sort of see that. It's the same as PlayStation. PlayStation sells because of the nostalgia of Sony and how good they were back in the 80s and 90s. So it just carries on like
And
that.
as time goes on, that nostalgia will fade because, you know, generations change, don't they? And the youth come up now will think, what's this shit? And they're not playing.
We
it.
believe
They
in
just fade
we
away.
believe in generations, Elite. We believe in
we do.
generations. Come on.
They believe
Jim
in
does,
generations.
he's gone now.
They're
They sacked Jim.
millennials, baby boomers, Gen Z.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What he meant is he believes that they exist. He's like, I
believe
acknowledge.
in generational wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Red Dead's dead on with it. Right? Is they got rid of the dev teams that were valuable. You don't have Tomb Raider. You don't have Deus Ex. You've cut these things out. You kicked them out. And Deus Ex bums me out too because Deus Ex just got shit canned by Embracer, which makes me really sad. Like there's nothing like more of a gut punch when I first saw Elias, the voice actor that does the character Adam Jensen, coming out and being like, I hate to ruin this for you guys, but it doesn't seem like I'll be part of the next projects. And then like 2 days ago, he came out and was like, I've had a lot of fun with this over the years, blah, blah, blah. It'll always be in my heart. And then Embracer's like, yeah, we're cutting the work on the sequel we're doing. You're just like, shit.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It is concerning. It is very concerning. I mean, the industry as a whole is just, we're still feeling the effects of a worldwide economic downfall. I'm not even saying turn, it's a downfall at the moment. We're free falling and we're waiting for it to go the other way.
Yeah.
I'm just reading the comments. Grey Malad says, if the rumours are true and the Surface team are not developing the next gen consoles and not Jason's team, is this okay?
If the rumors are true,
I'm
the
not
Surface
sure
team are
what you mean by
developing
that.
the console, not Jason's
So-
team.
So he's referring to the fact that it was brought out that the Surface team is supposedly building these new consoles that are coming out instead of Jason's team.
Yeah.
No.
The big beard.
Jason
Jason
Ronald.
Ronald. Yes.
Yeah.
So his team is supposedly not tasked for it. And again, like this is another thing where it's like it's all rumors until we see it actually happen, right? But there has been some smoke, it sounds like, in regards to that team doing it instead of Jason's, which I find is interesting because some of the details that I saw with that, one of the things that they were saying was that the handheld version that they're talking about, like this possible handheld, was going to be like a cheaper version. And I think back to like everything Surface has ever released. I'm like, Surface doesn't release things that are cheap. So what's our version of cheap? What are we talking about here? Because like I don't buy it. Like it doesn't feel like it matches up with their history, at least in hardware.
I would have understood like a collaboration, like if they're wanting to go down that handheld road, like Surface does have a bit more experience, I guess, in that space around designing products for those purposes and things like that. And then Jason Reynolds' team still delivers the standard Xbox that we would expect as the hardcore. Yeah, that sounds like it would be something you would expect. A collaboration between the two teams to deliver on whatever the vision is. Like, we want this handheld, and we want to go after this market, but we also want to go after the hardcore market. How do we do that? Okay, and then there's the rumors of the two different devices. The one that's dockable, that you can play the next gen or current gen games on that.
The hybrid.
Yeah, the hybrid, and so it's a handheld, but then you can. Sounds like a Switch thing if it's dockable in that sense, because that was such a genius idea, and Nintendo, well done. And then you'd have your standard hardware as well, but who knows? There's so many rumors coming out, and I also am of the mind that I feel like, and we're going to talk about this anyway, about what's happening as our last topic, but they probably are putting things out there and seeing who's leaking what to try and find out where this information is coming from. There might be some truth in it, but you never know. I also think they're trying to really stop all of that coming up, because unintentionally they kind of gave away their roadmap a little bit. Obviously the roadmap has probably changed since they submitted those documents to the FTC, but it's still interesting looking at what's coming on. It's hard to just talk about rumors like this because it's going to be a wait and see moment. Thank you. You need to play the playing off sound.
I
We
think
can't now. We were on Discord. You got rid of our soundboard.
Oh,
You horrible person.
well, I can do that. I can do software ones through OBS, so I can do software
I
ones
Don't
think-
through
your
OBS.
soft porn.
I think it's interesting. No, if anything though, I agree with you. Like it does make me kind of wonder if maybe they were tooling around with throwing some things out there to people to see what surfaced, right?
Yeah.
Like one of my previous employers, there were a couple supervisors that did similar things where they'd make a comment around someone that they knew was a leaky ship when it came to keeping anything a secret, and see how far it went, if it came back to them, and also how much it changed, over that game of telephone from start to when it came back to them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a possibility. It's the same reason why you see when people are doing beta tests and stuff like that, there's usually a QR code on the screen, or there's a watermark or something, and usually it's got a user ID or something like that, so that way if anyone leaks stuff, they can track your ass down. They can be like, hey, we know what you did. It's the same type of idea. You could throw something out there very small, see how much it blew up, and be like, well, I know that it's this person because this is the only person that we told.
Yeah. Yep, and they might tell a few different people, but change a slight detail.
Yep.
And then if that detail gets through, then they know which one. So I actually put a tweet out earlier in the week saying, theory, Xbox drama has been done on purpose and to weed out the snitches. So I actually did a tweet and put Ice Cube.
It could.
It kind of feels a little bit like that. And, hearing the guys that have been bringing it out in the Xbox community, there has been differences on what games. Some are saying all, some are just picking certain games, Starfield and that, and it's just it kind of feels like there's been a few people told a couple of different things, and then we'll see how it all comes out. And it looks like it's all come out, but the Xbox has always had that problem of people leaking stuff and information out there, and maybe, just maybe, this is a little bit of a way to try and see that.
Maybe it's Tim Dog, and that's why he's turned on Xbox.
Maybe that's why he's so bitter right now.
Yeah, maybe he's so bitter. Maybe he's going to go the way Red Dragon did. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well,
No one's going the way of Red
You never
Dragon.
know.
He is his own entity, I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Grey Monad. Sorry, I was just going to say
sorry.
Grey Monad.
Go ahead.
Grey Monad says you
my
you
volume up.
spaz. You turn your volume up. He says. He deleted the word spaz though. He did call you a spaz, but he deleted that part.
I
So I thought
believe that
mention
the only person who called me that was you, Elite.
No, he was there. He must have deleted it.
but is he incorrect?
Yeah.
You gonna take that from them? Jesus.
Just
Just bounce them out and be like, oh, their connection got lost. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So, have we finished with this? Have we finished talking about Square Enix? We've given way too much time. We've given more
Absolutely.
time than PlayStation fans have. So, should we move on?
Probably.
See what I did there?
Yes, we did. Come on.
Have you got anything to say, Red? Okay. Helldivers 2 gets mixed reviews. Right? Has anyone heard of the game Helldivers 2 before? Move on. Yeah, I'm sure you have because it's been spammed all over Twitter at the moment.
It's the game that came after
gets mixed
Helldivers
reviews.
1, right?
Well done.
Yeah, which no one cared
you.
for or mentioned or anything. It was non-existent
And
until
it was a completely different type of game too, though. If you have a look at it.
yeah, but it's still non-existent. It was exclusive, but no one ever mentioned it. And now this one's sort of. Ugh. Helldivers 2 gets mixed reviews on Steam due to crashes, pay-to-win, and anti-cheat DRM. And yeah, it's got it's got a mixed review on Steam, which is at 52%. But looking at it just recently, it's gone up now, and it's got a positive review. So I think it's gone up to about 70, 80. Obviously, being boosted by PlayStation fans have gone there and pushed it up. It's gone up because it's gone from 50. It's gone up to about 30%. And suddenly everyone thinks it's fantastic, even though it's still got the same issues. I mean, it's been corrected on it, but it's got the same issues, but it's suddenly been boosted 30%. So clearly the PlayStation fan base, the same ones that are putting down Xbox games, have jumped on this with a wagon and thought, quick, boost this game, boost it, because that has some relevance. If we boost the game score, that means it'll do well. That's how life works. They're under some weird impression. But all in all, and it's getting posted around by people like Red Dragon and the usual fan base, that it's really successful, the most successful game ever made, because it's got 62,000 players. But concurrent players, but I think they live in a really weird small bubble if they're under
Selling
some
well on
impression
Steam, which is nice. It's doing quite well on Steam.
Yeah. It's doing well on Steam, but it paints two pictures. For one, it's still not doing as well as Xbox games. Two, it's doing better than all PlayStation exclusives have done so far on Steam. And it's day one. So what does this tell Sony? This tells Sony to put your games day one on PlayStation.
This is
play
that
PC,
they're
doesn't it?
starting
That's
that
what it's
trial. There's a couple of games that are day and date with
Yeah.
PC and console release this year. I think they're testing the waters, yeah.
Which is the irony of the whole thing, because they don't want that. But at the same time, they're capping for this game being really successful day one on PC. So they're really shooting themselves in the foot.
Are you surprised?
Because PlayStation go, oh, they're really enjoying this game being day one on PC. Let's make all our games day one on PC.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
The fan base is divided. Some people are going, yes, it's amazing that it's doing so well. And then there are other people going, it shouldn't be on PC. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
so you don't want Sony to make money? Like,
Yeah.
which is it?
Nobody's
And
playing
you
on
don't
PlayStation.
care about supporting the devs? Okay. All right.
Plus, it's a
Nobody's playing on
multiplayer
PlayStation.
game. You
That's
need
why
that.
That's why there's no active players for PlayStation. No one's playing on PlayStation. It's all on Steam. Steam's carrying this game.
Steam, yeah.
Let's
yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Ashtray?
I was just going to say, it's a multiplayer game. You need that player pool. The PlayStation, okay, they got 50 million consoles out there, but they don't play these games. So you need PC in there as well to help. It's a game that probably should be on every platform realistically, but whatever. But I have seen on Twitter, through Twitter, that there's, Sony fanboys giving it 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
posted
never
on
given a
Twitter,
game, regardless of it being an Xbox game, 10 out of 10, because there's no such thing. But Helldivers, come on. that's just desperation right there to try and boost that score.
I mean,
Like
it
we
looks
were
like
saying,
a fun game. I definitely want to pick it up on PC.
Yeah, I don't game on PC.
I am just, well, because I don't own a PlayStation, so I'm not buying a PlayStation to play it. I'd
Fair
rather
enough.
have the Xbox prompts and use an Xbox controller to play the game. But it's just interesting because I know a lot of PC complaints are coming through about the DRM and such. There's like anti-cheat on the game that, you know, it's not an online multiplayer in the sense of competitive, so why do you need anti-cheat? and it is impacting some performance to some degree based on the DRM, because they've got like what 2 types of DRM on the game, from my understanding, and so I know a lot of PC players have complaints in that respect.
Well, that's probably causing the issues where they're crashing and frame rate problems and stuff. That's usually causes that. So that's probably another issue that they've got. It's like if you get rid of it, it'll probably improve the performance of the game.
Well, I'm just kind of glad that they've got a game that they're now playing. Like, it's been pretty quiet over there. This is a second party game in that respect, because it's
It's first party. Sorry, no.
No, it's second
PlayStation
party.
fans told me it's first party. No, PlayStation fans told me it's first party. They're all claiming it as their
They
game
did
now.
not
It's their game.
own the studio.
And they're always right too, aren't they?
Yeah, they're always
That
right.
is
They're all
not a
claiming it's their game.
PlayStation studio.
Oddly, they're all claiming this is their first party. It's their game. Yada yada. They're all silent on Foam Stars though. They're also released, and there's just no talk about it whatsoever. It's just
Not a
Foam
word.
Stars is dead.
Not a word.
they all claim for their game, don't they? And it's just
Hellworld did it
nothing.
right.
No-
Foam Stars did it wrong. If
Yeah.
you're gonna rip off Nintendo, get it right the first time.
Not a single mention of Foam Stars.
Oh, it's
None of
an
them
early
mentioned it.
access.
Yeah.
And this is a fully fledged release for
Nobody's playing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
they're
it was
not
made,
even claiming
Foam
it as
Stars
theirs
made
now.
by
But there
Ubisoft.
was. Yeah. They
I
was
think
claiming
it's only
as
a
theirs,
timed
but-
exclusive, by the way.
Square
Foam
Enix, I
Stars
think.
is made
Square
by
Enix.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Square.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
So it's another Square
Which
Enix
proves
flop.
my
Well, it's
early
another
point in the last
Square
topic. Yeah,
game.
proves my point. Yeah.
No, Red. No.
Stop making games exclusive to PlayStation, Square Enix. Whatever, you're not learning nothing, are you, morons? But
It's-
but Foam Stars is dead on arrival, and they're not claiming it. But go on, Silent.
I was just gonna say it's almost like no one at all.
Jumping.
It's like no one asked at all for this product, like at all.
No.
Like Nintendo has theirs, and people are like, yeah, it's Splatoon's, it's good, and it's like Square Enix is like, you know what, that hot game on Nintendo, we need to put that on a system, and so they make their version, and everyone's like, that's not it, like at all. But much to your guys' point, before we got to that situation, before we got to release date, people were going nuts in the Sony side, like, this is going to be great, it's amazing, blah blah blah. I've not heard anyone say anything. Now granted, I will give it, I don't follow a lot of Sony creators on Twitter, because generally they infuriate me. I'm just not a big fan, but I have not seen much from even like the usual suspects, right?
Yeah.
Like even the people that I jump in and check occasionally, like, oh, what's Reforge doing? What's Colin doing, or blah blah blah. Like I have not heard very much.
Both of them are condescending. So,
Yeah,
so
no, they're big old bag of tools.
big old bag of dicks.
Rusty tools. A pair of rusty sheriff badges.
Spoons. They probably watch Salad Fingers together.
But,
Rusty sheriff's badges. Thank you.
Where are we taking this?
I haven't heard that for a minute.
you know what that is, yeah.
The internet. That's where we're taking it. Where does this show end up every week? In the gutter.
The
But
best
it's
place
great.
to be.
You're not a rusty sheriff badge, isn't you? So
Oh yeah. No, I do. I just don't hear it very often out here in the States. So when it happens,
good.
it always puts a smile on my face because it's hilarious. It's such a good descriptor.
Mate. It is. It is. Astrey's bell in his head. He knows.
And Red Dead is
Ooh,
just
I don't
looking
know.
in disgust.
Yeah. So.
Always. That is my
Yeah.
only thing disgust when we're talking about Elite. Yeah. Saying anything.
Yeah. But Foam Stars aside, which they've completely forgotten and just dismissed as one of their games, which I was claiming as one of their games, they completely dismissed it because it's not doing well at all. Helldivers, they're jumping on, claiming it as a first party game, they jump on it saying, yeah, Sony success, but it's not that much of a success at all.
If you had a
They're
choice
leaping
between
over
Foam
it,
Stars
and
and
I'm sure it's a good
Helldivers
game.
2, what are you going to pick?
Helldivers, because
Well, that's the
I've
other
already
thing.
played
Why they release them
Foam
both at the
Stars
same time? Why would you do
in
that?
Splatoon. So
Well, I always well you've already played
Yeah.
Splatoon, but like, for those who haven't, like Helldivers 2 just way more interesting to me than the idea of foam stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, no interest in foam stars. That's why I said I am gonna play Helldivers 2 on PC. I think that game looks fun. I'm gonna wait till they make some further improvements with it before I pick it up. But yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. But good. Helldivers does look interesting. Looks good fun. But the MTs seem to be trying to sort of ignore the MTs in it, even though they attacked Game Pass because it's got MTs in it, and that's Game Pass having MTs, and sort of comes hand in hand, doesn't it? A sort of service game having MTs in it, but they're quite happy for their games they pay full price for to have MTs in it, and they seem to be damage controlling for the MTs in this game, which just seems to be odd, but very predictable from their fan base. And it's pay to win as well. You know, you buy stuff and then you get more powerful, which is really weird in a PvE game that you can pay to be more powerful in a game where it's not actually PvP. He's just going against the AI, which seems to be
That's
odd.
how you're making money, right?
I don't know why people would
bother giving them unlockables to strive towards when you could just get that gear right away. I reckon if you're gonna do it, don't allow your shop to be available right away. Like lock it behind until they get to a certain part of the story,
Or level.
Then,
Yeah.
certain level. And then if you want to go down that road, do it. Yeah, there's better ways to do it.
There's always going to be those people out there that'll pay straight off the bat. They'll drop
Yes.
another 50 or whatever down
Places
just to
fans,
be
yeah.
OP on everyone and just
Yeah.
obliterate them on purpose and just be cunts. So
Yeah.
you're always
mean,
going to get that, and that ruins the game for a lot of people.
You will, and I
Yeah,
guess
it
that's
happens.
also like
That happens those times,
you go
yeah.
find a piece of armor, you've grown, you've done all this gear for it, and then someone can just buy something like instantaneously. But that is, I guess, different based on the type of gamers you are.
Yeah.
Some people don't have a lot of time to sink in and do all of that, so they want to have something pretty. So they'll throw a couple of dollars down to do it. A shitload of money. To be honest, microtransactions are not cheap. Yeah. I think no matter how you cut it, no one's ever going to end up happy.
Yeah, true. Although Elite's gone for now, so I'm happy.
By the way,
Froze out.
we have microtransactions coming in, so if you don't want Elite to show up on the show, please
I'm gonna
spend
start
money.
I'm actually going to start a poll up.
Shit, we just got 100.
Come off the show.
I'm just doing a poll.
Yeah, nah. All right, well,
Pause.
since he's gone,
Have I vanished?
another... so many
No, you
pop-ups these days on the
haven't.
internet. Fuck. What's up?
You haven't disappeared, Elite. We're just, Ashtray's just trying to, put it into the ether.
He's not
Oh.
on my screen.
No, I'm just doing a poll. I'm just chucking
He's
a
on
poll.
mine.
Right.
Is he?
I'll just chuck.
Yeah.
He's not on my screen. I've only got the
Yeah.
3 of us here.
Oh, she's got. We've got a little personal screen going on,
Second.
which is. Can you
'Cause
see
it said
this
he
on?
disconnected.
Yeah, I see it on there. Yeah, I see you too.
Oh.
I think Ashtray just blocked you.
Yeah.
That's all.
I think he's. Yeah.
Because
I've done a little poll, guys. If you want to have a look at that. How long will HD2 last? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months
weird.
plus? I've put. So let's let that poll go.
Maybe I
see how
should
that
jump
goes.
out and jump back in.
It might be a bit
Yeah.
funny if you do that.
I-
Try reloading it.
Yeah,
Just do a
maybe
refresh.
Jump out and,
Yeah, do
Yeah.
a refresh.
Yeah.
And then if it asks you to continue on the same,
yeah,
continue on.
do something. Yeah.
This. It's
Go
an
on.
It's an
Just
interesting.
go off and have a
poll.
coffee, Rooney.
It's an interesting poll because it's like with most games, if you told me oh yeah, it'll only last for like a month, I'd be like, no, that's being too pessimistic. But this is PlayStation fans. These are people who have told us over and over again they don't play these games. They want that
There he is.
that cinematic.
Yeah.
They want that cinematic AAA
And also,
single
it's
player experience.
PvE.
Yeah. So like this is not long for life in the PlayStation ecosystem.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll do fine on PC, but yeah. On PlayStation, you may as well have already
Yeah,
dug it a
Steam will
grave
carry it.
before it
Steam will
even
carry it.
released.
If they keep. Yeah. Exactly.
Here's Here's a question I have for you,
it'll
though,
be
with
successful
this.
on Steam.
Hello.
There's a delay.
There is a little bit.
What did you say?
I wonder if it's maybe on my side. I might need to
I think it's on
connect
Elite's side by the
hardwire.
look of it, because he's all slow motion on my screen.
That's just all the drugs.
Oh,
So it's all the whiskey he's
Yeah.
drinking.
I'm drinking whiskies. Yeah, I'm drinking whiskey.
I am curious what you guys think, though. Like, if Factions actually did come out, right?
The CPU's overloaded. That's what it's telling me.
How long do you think that Factions would have actually, like, realistically lasted? Because again, let's keep these guys to their word. Like, they've said it before. We've seen their support for online multiplayer games and stuff. How long do you think that would have actually lasted?
Maybe a month.
These-
Maybe.
These are the Last of Us playing the game. Sorry.
A month. Okay, so a month. Red Dead. What do you think?
I think some of them would have tried sticking out. I think the real hardcore would have tried sticking it out. But yeah, maybe 3 weeks to a month before it started getting Cliffy B numbers on his Lawbreakers game.
Cool, that's
Goddamn.
I mean, you figure Factions probably at that $70 price point. Factions at best, unless they
free
bundled
play.
it with hardware. Yeah, or if they added it like for PS Plus, or if they bundled it or something, you're probably only talking like 10% of the user base would actually play it at
Your
max.
attachment rate is not great.
Yeah. Like it's even when the attachment rate is connected to hardware, it's like 20 to 25% max. That's where it caps out. It doesn't go farther than that. So like you figure 10% of that, and then you figure there's a bunch of people that probably are just buying the games because they're digital hoarders. Because
And you're
I
not
get
moving
it.
people casuals off COD, so yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're not even interacting with that same ecosystem, that same user base. It's a whole different group of people. So, yeah, I don't think anything that they release on that service multiplayer is going to have any life past maybe 6 months max. It just doesn't seem realistic.
Helldivers 2 isn't exactly your normal style multiplayer, right? There's no actual multiplayer to it, right? You all work together to achieve something. There's no competitive side.
No, it's just co-op.
Understanding.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully they've got a good enough gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, gameplay loop. Thank you. I was thinking of the word, and I just couldn't get it to come to me. Gameplay loop in order to keep people coming back. But I also think that this game is going to continue to evolve in order for them to try and stay relevant. So maybe they're working on something like that in the background. Who knows? But deliver a final product.
Yeah. It's only a co-op game. We'll see how they keep it going, keep it interesting, because it's a PvE game, not a PvP game. So it's going to be hard to keep going. So it'll be interesting, but I can't see it lasting very long. And will PlayStation keep investing in that game as well?
It'll last
Were
longer.
they
than
willing to keep throwing money at it?
Yeah.
What are you suggesting? That's disgusting. Well,
I
for
didn't
that,
say
She was
it.
talking about your internet.
Yeah.
She was talking about your
Yeah,
internet
right.
connection.
100%
okay.
your internet. Yep.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right, Rooney.
Astrey's like, I quit. I give up on you, Panda. You're awful. I'll take my
Is Ashtray still there?
I'm still here.
Ubisoft. Next topic. Yeah, Rudy. Ubisoft was disappointed. That's it. That's the topic. No, Ubisoft was disappointed by Assassin's Creed Nexus VR sales.
I was
They
disappointed
will not increase
by
VR. They will not
Ubisoft.
be increasing VR investment.
You botted on me, Elite. What did you say?
So So the new Assassin's Creed Nexus VR came out, and nobody bought it. Nobody wanted to play it. So they're not going to invest in VR anymore. They're done. They're
Did it
done.
come out
They're
on
already done.
PlayStation VR? Did they put it out there?
Quest.
Was it only on
It was on
PC?
MetaQuest. No,
Only
it
on
didn't.
MetaQuest?
Yeah.
It was on MetaQuest 3 and Apple Vision Pro. Yeah. No, it was only. I didn't go on PlayStation. Oh, you think because it would be on Play? Yeah, no. If it was on PlayStation VR, it would have died as well. Because the bottom line, I'm going to chuck it in here. VR is just not that popular. Get over it, people. VR is just not a success
The
story.
technology's not at a
You're going to
point
get
where
your
it's necessary.
little niche players. The technology's not good enough, and the price is too high, and it's just not there. I think AI is the future, not VR. And at the end of the day, it's just not that you're not getting any. You're not even getting first party, big massive first party publishers, developers throw into it, other than Ubisoft, and they've already quit after one game. They're done. It's trash. It's not worth the effort. So it's not worth the effort. And this is what Phil said ages ago. That's why he was looking at investing in it, and then called on it and said, "Nah, it's not worth bothering. It's just not worth money." And Sony continuously keep throwing money at it and fooling their fans into thinking it's worth something. They keep spending $600, pounds, whatever, on VR units, not making games for it, and just releasing sort of average games for it. And then it's just VR is just not there, and nobody's shocked really by this news that this game wasn't a success. I've talked to PlayStation fans on the internet, and they've said, "Oh, if it was on PlayStation VR, it would have been a success." No, it wouldn't have. Just be quiet. It wouldn't have. There is no success story on PSVR. There's no game that's come out and it's just like massive, and everyone's gone, "Wow, look at that! That's a success story." No, 10 of you would have bought it like all the other games, and that would have been it. It would have been a success. So that's pretty much my view on it. Silent Cypher, you're nodding away. You're eager to go. Go for it.
So I do want to add on to what you were saying, but modify a little bit, because I would agree with you. I don't think VR is necessarily the thing, right? But I am going to add like a slight adjustment to that. I don't think it's a thing for us. Like for our age, for people like us, like for older gamers, I don't think it's really that much of a thing. Like my son, if he were at home right now, he would be on his Oculus upstairs, and he'd be playing, I kid you not, something like Job Simulator or like some of these other games. Like he plays the crap out of his VR, and it's like it's just not it's not the same. Like I don't talk to a lot of adults that are like, "Oh yeah, I spend hours and hours and hours on my VR." But whenever I talk to my son about VR, his friends and a bunch of people around his age play a ton of it. So I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like they didn't really catch a lot of us in some of the other generations, but the kids love it. Like the kids gobble a lot of this stuff up. So I definitely agree with you. Like for me, it's kind of just like a fun little experience. Like jump into it real quick, try it out, and then bounce. But man, for these new kids, like they go nuts over it. So maybe it's got a future with some of these kids that are coming up now. But for us, I don't think it's gonna happen. Uh-oh, did we lose Elite?
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Oh, damn. But yeah. Hopefully you could hear what I was saying. I don't know if I was having connection issues too. Hopefully everything's okay.
Gone. It's gone.
Yeah, I think the issue's on his end because I heard you loud and clear.
Yeah.
So, my take on VR, I've never liked it. I've never thought it's a popular peripheral. There's niche people, niche, fan base for it, but it's just not going to move the needle. And in a day and age where we're getting a lot of remakes and remasters, mainly on the Sony side, but they're scared to start new IPs.
Yeah.
They're scared to invest millions of dollars into new IPs. You really think they're going to invest in VR? That's even less chance of selling than a mainstay AAA quote unquote banger. No, they're not. So it doesn't have the backing of the businesses. It doesn't have the fan base that it needs, and it's just not there yet. It's still tethered and all that kind of stuff in PSVR 2. So it's go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah. So I definitely agree with you in regards to hardware tethered versions, right? Because like with the Oculus, something like that, where my son has it upstairs, he's not connected to anything, right?
It's
Like
wireless,
he's just, yeah. So something like that, I see a path forward for. But I feel like anything to talk to what you're saying, right? Like you look at the PlayStation install base. You look at when the PSVR 1 was out of that like 40 or however many million consoles that they had sold, they literally only had a 6% install base on PSVR 1, right?
Yeah.
So you factor like, yeah, you had this console sale, but you only had 6% that even picked this thing up. Who knows how much of that is actually going to buy your game? And that's already abysmal numbers as it is, right? So like something where it's not connected to this hardware, it's not tethered to that specific ecosystem, I think has a path forward, or something that's on PC maybe. Because with PC you have a lot of functionality where you can continue to support that service or that system moving forward. But yeah, I agree. PlayStation VR for sure is not going to be around for long, I don't think.
No, and it's done a lot less numbers than the PSVR 1. And we've said this a million times before. It's AR that's going to be the future, not VR. Augmented reality is the next thing, and you mix that with AI, like kind of like what Elite was, I think, trying to say earlier. That's where it's going to be the next thing. And I mean, what's the Apple one? That's augmented reality, isn't it? The Apple.
Yeah, that one's got AR. The only problem with that one though is it's like $3,500.
Yeah, so if that's
Technology's
like,
not at a point.
if that's $3,500 in the US, that's gonna be like friggin' what's that? Like $5,000 here or something?
Yeah, I was gonna say like 5,000,
should have a look.
6,000, maybe.
I'll have a look but seeing these people walk around driving and walking around the streets with it, what the fuck? People sitting at
Yeah.
a restaurant eating food with it on, like,
Did you see the guy that got?
what the hell?
You see the guy that got pulled over because he was driving his smart car while he was on it.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I was like, come on, that's
Are there any laws against it? Technically, probably not yet.
Isn't there like keep
No,
your eyes
well,
on the road type thing? Or
I don't-
general
I don't-
driving etiquette.
Yeah, I don't know about it out there for you guys if they have kind of buckled down on it as much as it is for us, but they are very much like, they've put laws in place and stuff where it's like if we see you on a screen, then we can tag you for it, we can ticket you because of that distraction. So they could probably tag you and be like, well, technically it's just like a phone because you have a screen that you're getting distracted by. I know people have gotten nailed for tickets just even for their console that's right there in their or in their car, because they'll be sitting there and they'll be playing around with stuff on there and they'll slam into the back of someone's car. And they're like, well, you were distracted while you were driving and you were on a screen, so they tag them with a ticket. And it's like, all right. So they probably could, I guess.
All right, just having a quick look at the cost of the Apple Vision Pro here in Australia. Interesting, lower than I thought. So it's $3,499 for the base model, which seems to basically be on how much storage space you've got. 256 gig, then 512 gig is 3,699, so 3,700, and then the 1 terabyte is 3,900.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. They must have figured out a way to balance out the pricing on that, or like took a bath on the pricing outside, like internationally or something.
Yeah, unless that was the US website. So
That it sounds like the
could
US
happen.
website, but
that could happen.
but either way, man, like anything past even past like $700 or $800, like that's super crazy to expect that people are going to jump into even that ecosystem. But the AR stuff, like you said, that is the future. Those type of things where you can have that mixed, where you can still have this thing on, but you can interact with other things as you're moving. That is definitely the future of that side of things. Like just the regular one as it is now before the AR implementation. It's not going to last. They'll convert over time.
Well, I have no interest in VR at the moment. Power World in VR though, sort me out. I really want to get up and close with the butcher knife on my pals. Come on, sort it.
That's
I joke.
that actually does bring up something interesting though, because Oculus has the Game Pass app on it, right? So you can jump in and you can use your Oculus with Xbox Game Pass. So I guess my son could technically like blow that up and have like 100-inch screen of Pal World right there in front of him. I hadn't even thought about that, but I might have to play around with that too. Because that could be interesting. Could be fun.
Where is he going?
To the
He's
bathroom.
back. You're back now. Yeah.
Pillow Man.
By the way, Pillow Man, that doesn't show up on our stream, thank goodness. Just for us. Just for us. Yes, if you put it up, but I have, because you left, I have to fix something in the background, so. Elite Panda up the tree. Oh,
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna
it
push
doesn't
you
show
off the
anything.
tree.
It just shows a black screen. That's all it gives you.
We're just talking about VR.
States. While driving.
No, I don't know if it's this way across the entire country, but I know at least for like some of the local states here, they've adopted no screens. So like if you get caught with it, it is a ticketable offense.
Yeah.
That being said, do I feel like it's really being like forced? No. Because I can't count how many times I've been driving past someone that was driving all wonky in a lane, and I look over and they're like, just like looking at their phone while they're cruising. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing here? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'll ever be able
my
to
car
fully.
drive itself when I'm on my phone. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not on my phone when
You
I'm
can do that
driving.
with the smart car, with the thingy cars, can't you? The what do they call them? X cars.
What is our next Topionic?
Because when I was opening it, because that's why I've closed it all down now, because I think it was causing me to crash
Very
out,
quickly,
so I've closed all I've
RSJ
closed
fan
this all
asked
down
about the
topics.
game being shown. That's Dragon's Dogma 1. And so if you haven't played it, I mean, number 2's coming out in March, so
I've watched
it
YouTube,
doesn't really
haven't
matter.
I?
It's probably better version would be number 2. Yeah. I just love Dragon's Dogma so much, so I've been playing a lot of it.
All right, Elite. So the next topic is Sony's Crunchyroll. I don't even know what the hell that word is, but Funimation, an anime company, is consolidated into Crunchyroll or something like that. So
Merged, yep.
yeah, so apparently the people with this Funimation are going to lose their digital downloads of their anime shows and series that they watch or have, because apparently it's not compatible with Crunchyrolls, and it doesn't look like there's a future fix or actual consolidation of them to work. So
Done, Sony. Well done.
that's what they're worried about at this stage. Unless things change, they're going to lose all that content. Yeah. So this is what happens when when there's consolidation and no one to fight against it. So what's happening here?
So let me get my head around this. Sony bought Crunchyroll and Funimation, what they're called, and then, but they're both not compatible. So Crunchyroll's basically just destroyed Funimation.
Mm.
Is that what's happened?
Basically, yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And the FTC or anyone else don't care that it's been basically monopolised and just just wiped out everything else, any competition, and that's all fine.
Yep.
I just love the fact that they say
as long as we're on the same level, I just want to make sure that.
I love the fact that they're
I just wanna
like,
make sure
we
that this is
appreciate your understanding, and then it's not like, it's not in the
Not they have
next
a choice.
setting, next sentence they're going to go, and we're working hard to make sure that you have access to it. No, it's, and we're working hard to make sure that you can go get access to stuff that you have already paid for using Crunchyroll, but you've just pissed the money away on Funimation because you can't get access to stuff that you already paid through. And that's where that digital preservation comes in. And I know people looking at that and going, how's it going to impact the gaming industry? Because everything's going all digital in that space. There needs to be protections in place. I think it's disgusting. And we saw what happened with Discovery, and this is just awful. People's entire library of anime that they've purchased is just gone. That just
How
makes me want
Sony
to go
keep
and
getting away
punch
with
the
this?
people in the face.
Well,
and take
that's
some
the thing.
kneecaps.
I reckon there's going to be a lawsuit. Someone will bring up a lawsuit on this.
Another
for sure.
one.
It may not
I think
happen
they
in the next
definitely will.
God, dude.
few months, but it'll happen, I reckon, because that's.
I think I might do one.
There
Do
has to
we
be laws
appreciate
against
your
that sort of stuff.
understanding? What fucking understanding do you expect to get from the people who purchase this
Yeah.
content that can't access it anymore? Like, that is like such a non-statement in the sense of it's so freaking stupid and deaf to what is actually going on and arrogant, in my opinion. It's just an arsehole statement.
I just like can I just jump in quickly before we listen to.
No, you're fine. I've said what I want to say.
Point in it. Okay, you just drink your vodka then. I was just going to
Water.
say that.
Water.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Water.
Whatevs.
Water.
Yeah, whatever.
Water.
Yeah, in it.
I had a debate with a PlayStation fanboy because he was under the impression that Microsoft could just remove. He said, "Why have they not made Minecraft exclusive and stuff? That's why they're going for a party." I said,
Why would they?
The game was already on PlayStations before they bought them. They can't just remove content off someone's platform because that's called theft. You can't just say, "Yeah, we own this company now, so we're just removing all their content off your platform." That's called theft. You can't do that. That's just morally wrong. And they said, "Well, they should do that." And I said, "No, they shouldn't do that, and they can't do that." But Sony's just done that, and so I can't see why they're allowed now to get away with that. If they're allowed to get away with that, then Xbox then should go, "Oh, right, okay, Minecraft, zip all off. Everyone that purchased Minecraft now on your PlayStations, fuck off. We've taken it off your platform. Now.
can't do that,
You
though,
can't play
because
anymore. You
there's
have
a
to buy an
different
Xbox.
standard
Call of
for
Duty,
Microsoft
you can't have
than
it
there is
now.
for Sony.
We've just removed it off your platform. Why don't Xbox just start doing that? Just removing games actually literally off their platforms, just deleting it off their platforms. You can't have it anymore. You have to buy an Xbox. Can you imagine if Xbox started doing that? Just
Yeah,
game exclusive. It's ours now.
that wouldn't happen. But what they could do
No.
potentially is make a Minecraft 2 and make it exclusive.
They could do, but they wouldn't because it's makes so much money and it's
Yeah, absolutely.
just yeah,
It'd be silly.
And,
But that's what
as a
they could do.
business, they
That's like a
shouldn't do that.
loophole.
yeah. Here's a loophole.
Yeah.
Same with Call of Duty. They could make Call of Duties, but just slightly rename them.
Yeah.
Why?
Cool.
Why would you piss
Cool
that money away? That
of
paycheck that Sony's giving Microsoft?
Booty.
Like,
Call of Booty.
Task of Honor. Task of Honor instead of Call of Duty.
of Honor.
There you go.
I prefer Call of Booty. Much better. And you can have a picture of Matt Booty. Anyway.
Where's the
I think-
soundboard when we need it?
I think they already actually
Really?
had oh, it was called Age of Booty. Sorry, I thought there was
Oh,
one
Age of
called
Booty.
Call of Booty. Yeah, my bad.
They Call of Booty. And have a
Call of
picture
Booty. Put
Matthew.
Booty on it. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, go on, son. What is your opinion?
You're not gonna like my feedback on this one.
I go for it. Fuck up. No, I'm kidding.
Well, no. So why I say that is because, like, technically, yes, they can do this. It's in the EULA. It's in your end user license agreements that you agree to when you purchase these or when you get into these these digital ecosystems. So you agree to the agreements that they set for you. You agree to these specific terms and stuff. So EA did this way back in the day, and they continue to throw it out there every now and then just to remind people. But EA has one where it's like, if we decide that things are not going well, we don't have a lot of users, we can just shut off the online service. We have the right to do that. And you accept that when you go in and you start that game up. So these companies already set that type of stuff up for themselves. So if they want that way to get out of it and not support it, they can. Is it scummy? Is it garbage? Yes. However, I do think in this situation, just because I'm sure there is a EULA for this specific service, I would not be surprised if we saw lawsuits come for it. Just because this is a substantial amount of money that you're talking. This isn't just a single game with a single multiplayer or something like that. This is a sizable investment for some people. So I do think
seasons of shows, multiple shows that they will have all been. Yep.
Yeah. So I do think we'll see some class action lawsuits for this one, just because it is bigger than your standard end user license agreement argument. Yep. Whether it'll go anywhere or whether they'll settle and they'll just be like, yeah, we'll pay you out of court and just call this good or whatever, who knows. But I think the thing that was even more egregious with this too, right, is they told you, hey, you can't access this content anymore. And when you were saying what's their response or whatever as to their solution for this, it was bending people over as they were giving the news. It was literally abusing people in a way and just being like, you're not going to do anything about it. But to add insult to injury,
we appreciate the fact that you understand what's going on in the situation. We just
you're still gonna take it and you're gonna like it. Is kind of how they approached it.
And you're gonna thank us for it.
Yep. And it was even worse. It was even worse. And you're gonna thank us for it part was when they're like, hey, instead of us charging you $55 a month for this service, we're actually bumping it up to $100. So to add insult to injury of this whole situation, they had the gall, the stones, to come at you and be like, we're going to get rid of most of your library from this other service, and you're going to pay us almost double. Thank you. And you're welcome. It was a messed up situation.
You have no idea what we've done for you today. So just pay us.
We hooked you up. Hooked you up. The one last thing I'll say real quick is just, you look at this and it's not a situation where it's hard to do. There's no precedent for, this can't be done because it's too hard to combine these libraries of data that you have, these libraries of content. Because you look at something like Voodoo, which Voodoo, along with Disney's Movies Anywhere, all these different ones, they combined a few years ago. And all you had to do was you went in and you just synced up your accounts. You made sure that they connected together in the back end. They notified you ahead of time. They said, hey, this is what's going to happen. So you need to go in, sync these accounts, make sure they're all combined, and then it'll pull all of your library to one centralized location. So it's doable. But these guys chose to be assholes about it and be like, nah, we don't really want to deal with it.
Yes. It was going to be the headache, the time and effort, the money probably to make sure that they had it all working and pulling it all across. Was just we've got a better idea for you.
Yeah. Consumer friendly is not the concern. Yeah.
No.
My only point I was going to make to Silent, when you was correct on all the points you made then. The only thing is where you said about it doesn't sort of you would assign contracts and that, and these things always pop up on everyone's screens, even ours, and you do tend to just go, yeah, and you scroll through it and go and tick. Nobody ever reads it, and that's what they rely on. They don't want you to read.
And then
this
when
shit.
you try and sue them, they're like, no. You've got a digital signature. You've got a digital signature here when you logged in.
In Australia, though, with the Consumer Guarantee Act that they've got, like you can't fuck people over like that in Australia.
So you could potentially see some international lawsuits. I don't know where all Crunchyroll and those are.
That's what happened recently. There was the lawsuit. It was Australian based, wasn't it?
Where they had that type of thing.
Lawsuit against Sony. Yeah, they had that recently.
Oh, yeah.
It was Australians that suing Sony, not anyone else, but the Australians. But the only other thing I think on Funimation, my query would be, is the people that first joined Funimation, the contracts they possibly could have agreed to might not include. Obviously, I can understand down the road, Crunchyroll and Sony have taken over and sort of just wiped them out and said, yeah, we're taking with you your video library, it's all gone, yada yada. But people that first joined, there probably wouldn't have been a clause in, because Funimation wouldn't have predicted that would have been just bought out and then completely wiped out. So there might have been a clause in the earlier contracts.
But they send out updates.
So unless it's been their contract, the earlier,
that's agree to
that's
the
the only
new
ones,
terms and conditions.
Exactly. So
anytime the earlier ones, that's what I'm saying, possibly.
Yeah.
But otherwise, other than that, Australians, anyone's. But it's dirty anyway, and Sony know what they're doing, and they get away with this time after time.
They bought out. They merged with their competition, and now they've said fuck it. Yeah,
and Xbox are being called monopolistic by buying ABK and putting their games on all platforms. It's weird. Not actually removing anything or doing anything with it.
The logic there, Elite.
Yeah.
Just don't try.
Yeah, I know. It's just weird. And they get away with it every time, Sony. And that's why they're market leaders. And that's why they'll always remain market leaders, because they've just got some sort of, I don't know.
Until they get sued the media, up the wazoo, and then they've got no money to keep the market leaders.
That's it. Well, they keep getting sued. That's the thing. They keep getting sued, and I think they're slowly being drained in the back room. That's what I think. People are not seeing that. I think they're losing money. And I think that's what I'm not seeing many first party and stuff like that. I think they're being hit hard in the background.
They're losing money.
They're being hit hard, but you don't hear this, and there's no big voice. And you notice the social media. We get like Phil recently come out and said, and they hated him for it, and they make a big thing about it. When Phil and Satayo or whatever, anyone comes out from Xbox, talks on Twitter and says, we acknowledge what you're saying, thank you, yada yada yada, and they'll go, oh, yada, you should be speaking to your people, your lobies and stuff like that. No one from PlayStation ever speaks to their fans. No one ever. No one games them. No one speaks to them. Something could happen, or something won't happen, and they'll be silent. And you won't ever hear from anyone from the PlayStation side. Nothing. Where's their first party games? They'll say, and there'll be no reply. What's happening? When's their showcase? Or maybe it's a secret one. Is there a showcase coming PlayStation? Silence. Nothing. You don't get anything. They won't ever respond to anyone, and they're not called out for it. But the Xbox is sort of hated for actually responding to their fans. Phil will come out and go, I'll talk to you next week. Oh, why have we got to wait a week? Sony, they never speak to you, but you don't care about that. But you can't wait a week for Xbox. He's not being transparent. That's what they're saying. Phil's not transparent enough. Sony are never transparent. They never have been, and they will never ever will be. And they will not tell you anything because they don't want you to know anything.
But that's the exact point, right? Is because Sony has never been like that. They've never had to like bend to that, because they never gave that leeway in the first place. Microsoft has tried to be consumer friendly and be like, hey, we're your buddy. We're here for you. We care about you. We want to have this conversation. And so then when things go bad, like, they expect everyone to come out and stop everything they're doing and be like, hold on. This rumor you're talking about? No. We just want to address it real quick. Like, these people have jobs. And the thing is like, they've always put more, or they've tried to at least put more of a consumer friendly approach on it. Whereas Sony's been like, you can sit and spin. because we don't care. You're going to buy our stuff whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And that's to Microsoft's detriment, is the fact that, like, yes, they've tried to be friendly, and unfortunately people have taken advantage of that, or just expected that no matter what the situation, they're going to come out and squash the rumors and make it so you can sleep at night.
Next topic.
Oh, I'm just typing to the chat, but my everything delayed. Yeah, can you read it out? Because I said I can't open up anything, and I think we're on the Xbox topic now, are we?
We are. I don't have it in front of me.
Someone lead it because I can't seem to open anything.
Elite.
Ashtray.
Alt tab.
Yeah, no, good old
Try
Alt
opening,
tab.
but don't worry about
more,
it. It's
more. I'm just going to read what you've got here. It says more
no, it's not
Xbox going
it just
third-party
lagged
waffle.
me out last time when I was having stuff.
Wow.
Are you
And I
connected
put a link.
via
Well, there's a link there.
Wi-Fi,
Or
Elite, or are you connected via Ethernet cable?
Yeah.
Yeah, to which
You
one?
use Ethernet. It's 2024, girlfriend.
This is why you're probably
he's on
having internet
Wi-Fi.
issues.
Of
I'm
course,
on
it's
Wi-Fi,
This
though.
is why you're probably on... Yeah, but
I'm on Wi-Fi.
I don't know. At
Yes,
least internet hates
but-
it.
Ashtray, you're not downloading porn while you're on Wi-Fi, so it doesn't
Yeah.
affect you the same.
He is, and he's touching himself.
Just saying. Just saying.
I reckon. Yeah, look, my router's not that far away.
Can't
from
see
the
your
next
hands,
room
Ashtray.
anyway.
Yeah.
Well, they're warm.
Where's your router?
Hand check. Hand check. Come on now.
We can't see your hands either. We
I've
can't
got
see anyone's
gigabit
hands.
internet.
Yeah,
and I'm
but yeah,
connected
rub it
via
in.
Ethernet
Rub it in.
port.
This one of the smallest countries in the world with the least amount of
Yeah,
people in the
handshake.
world has the better internet than us.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because we're a great
And up.
test location
Test.
for a small country.
Test
So
it,
they
really?
can test it. Yeah, we're a great test location.
Test.
Stop picking
Say
on my
test again.
accent.
Test.
Your accent.
Taste.
Bloody
My taste.
Australians. They're so mean to the Kiwis.
Yep. Yep. You're kind of like the English, but closer.
Oh,
Kiwis are great.
Yeah.
Kiwis are great. I spent most of my initial
don't have to say that
Xbox
because
Live
you've
years
seen them.
playing with Kiwis.
Aww.
No, truly, like, just because of my work schedule and stuff, I'd get off of work, and when I was getting off of work to jump on and play like Halo 2 and stuff, like a bunch of my old friends that I was playing with were all out in New Zealand. So it just
Use your
worked out
phone,
better for
Elite.
me.
Yeah. Yep,
Use
that
your
happens.
phone. Use your
Well,
phone
that's-
to download the porn, and your computer to stream.
I'm just gonna say,
Anyway.
I was trying to type in chat, but my lag's so bad I can't type in chat. It was just breaking my whole chat up.
It
Can anyone
keeps
hear
telling me
okay?
your CPU,
So,
CPU
I
is
just-
probably overloaded.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's
Start a
bad.
This is your
GoFundMe
Windows,
for Elite's
Windows
new computer.
Surface product.
No, I've recently really got into midget porn. They're tiny and they're funny. And you can
Well,
sort of
let's
throw
get on
them
Yeah.
to
out.
it. Let,
But
Yeah, but
our
hold
last
on.
topic of the
Hold-
show.
Hold on.
Right.
Just one quick note, real quick.
Here we go.
You mentioned that that's
go.
what you've gotten into, and I don't think that's what you're downloading right now, because if you did, it'd only be half the size, so it wouldn't affect your internet.
Didn't.
And I will
Discord,
apologize for that.
Don't worry.
Red.
No need to
Yeah, we would have a
apologize.
budum tish for that.
Your
I'm
jokes
the one
will
who
never
should
be
apologize.
as bad as Red's.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you'll never be as bad as me.
Yeah.
I look
That's-
forward to hearing
But
more.
anyway, I was
No,
just gonna
don't.
say in chat. I was actually gonna say in chat. 'Cause I
You're
was trying
voting.
screwing up, so I've just typed "fuck it" in chat. I just want to just shout out to the chat, and we appreciate you all because we've got exactly. See, the chat was botting, and now my bot is botting. We've got in chat. We've still got it's Timmy's joined us, and Jedi Knight Peter Orr, that's American for Peter, and Grey Monad's still in the chat, and RSJ Johnson fan, and Mike Johnson as well, and we've got a bunch of groups. I just want to say we appreciate you on at the same time as us, and it's clearly the better one. So it is. So because we've got myself, Ashtray, and we've got Silent Cipher, so that's why it's better than the other channels. We've got our secretary, Red Panda. She's useful. But yes, we appreciate you all for joining us, and thank you all for joining us. And each
He
week,
lets me out of the kitchen just for the show.
What was?
yeah,
You could, you could just boot him
minutes,
out.
then goes back to
Like
the
he's asking for it.
She didn't say it was wrong though.
she loves it.
I mean, who's doing work behind the scene, Elite? Because your
No, and I've sent her a
computer
picture of me
needs an
cuddling her as well.
upgrade. Anyway,
Damn.
Yeah,
Last
I've got
topic.
this in your hands.
Respect.
Your
last
hands
topic. Everyone, can you just everyone in the chat
Last
just
topic.
spam
Go on then.
hashtag delete elite in the chat, please. We do need it. It is a staple of the show every week.
Wednesday, fuck you.
And hopefully one day he'll get the
Tech
hint
Nose, got
and
Tech Nose in
not
chat
show
now.
up one week. Just
What's up, bruv?
one day.
What's up? Brr, 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 brr. What's up? Tech? Brr. Word.
Hello, Technos.
Right.
If you are in the
lead
knows,
on
what's
to the
happening
last
on
topic.
Monday?
I
No, I'm
can't
kidding.
open it.
Our last topic is
Xbox
about
going third party
Xbox going
open
third
someone's-
party.
and the massive Twitter meltdown.
Yeah. And there was a. Yeah. So, how do we lead on this? How do we start? Because there's been so much nonsense about this. So, shall I get the ball rolling?
Yeah,
Get the ball rolling, KJ.
that's your job.
Right. So.
Do your job.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, if
Fucking
anyone's been out
Muppet.
of the
Do
news
it
recently
now.
or off Twitter, so since the PlayStation Secret Showcase, which is absolutely horrible, a rumor picked up following that showcase that Xbox is going third party, and it was a rumor set by someone's mate's dad on Reddit, and everyone's gone with it. Everyone's just run with it, including media and IGN. And IGN have just made stuff up, basically. Just started adding more to it, like Xbox have closed their studios. You see those ones? Xbox have closed down the what was it? The flying
Toys
one.
for Bob's.
Toys for Bob. Yeah, they're just closing down studios and stuff, which is absolute lies. They just like making stuff up again, IGN. So yeah, there's no bias though, no bias. So yeah, and so following on from that, we've had PlayStation fans completely on the all Xbox games now they're going to PlayStation, all of them, based on some rumor, and we've had. But what's weird is we've had Xbox guys having a complete meltdown. Some of them. We won't mention names. We're not that kind of podcast, are we? Are we? We are kind of podcast.
It's your
We
show,
can
man.
mention names.
Whatever.
What do I do? Red, over to you. Should we mention
I'll just
names?
cover
I've
my
got them ready.
face. I'll just cover my face while you mention the names.
Yeah, just do that.
Your choice. I mean,
We don't know who you are.
I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Oh, cover your
Do you
name.
want these
Cover your,
people
cover
as
your name.
guests in
please.
future?
Yeah,
She
no,
has
I won't.
a
I've asked them several times and they don't want to. So I don't
You
give a
can
fuck.
throw their name under the bus if that is the case.
No, well, I won't do. Just in case the off chance they might decide to sort of, I don't know, recuperate some fan base and want to come back after they destroyed themselves, self-destructed on Twitter. But the bottom
messy.
line is, it's been messy for themselves because if it's like, it could be true, but if it's not, they're just going to look really stupid, and not just to Twitter, but to all the people that they've had a sort of a good sort of menage a trois with in the past, a good sort of understanding with. They've just ruined that relationship completely, haven't they? And so it's horrible. But we've also had some other things come forward. We've had some people like Colt recently was live on, was it his own podcast or was it on?
Yep.
It was his own one, wasn't it? And he had a message live during his podcast, which someone messaged him saying, "Don't believe everything you're reading, yada yada yada."
It's not as bad as you think it is. It's going to be okay.
Not as bad as you think it is. It's been blown out of
Something
proportion.
along
Yeah, it's
those
gonna be
lines.
everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna do an announcement next week. Then Phil come out and said, "Yep, we're doing an announcement next week to discuss it." Yada yada yada. And then today there was a fella. I can't read the comment. I've put it in the Discord, but I can't open it. I don't want to open it because will probably crash me out, and I'm already lagging. But there's a guy that
Use your
commented today, wasn't
phone.
there? Oh, I haven't got Discord on my. Oh, you are so awkward.
Didn't you put it in Twitter? You've got Twitter on your phone.
Yeah, okay.
You seem
See,
so
this is-
hesitant to use your phone. Why don't you like your phone?
Ask Elite how old he is, and you'll understand this
Because
technology.
I got 5% battery.
Tom Henderson said,
Why
"Make
don't you
of
plug it
this-
in?
I know, right?
I
got
found
mine
it for you,
fucking
Elite. I'll
plugged
do
in.
your job.
I've got-
You know,
I hate phones. Not established that
hashtag
already.
fire elite,
he's a-
everybody.
he's a
Hashtag
geriatric.
fire
Hey,
elite.
hey, phones are great. I love me some phones. They're good times.
That just sounds-
Especially
that
if you
sounds
charge
weird.
them, Elite.
Can we just quickly step back here for a second, right? So the original rumor came out from, I think it was Nate the Hate via, I don't know, one of those stupid apps. And he was saying that Starfield was going to come out. Then, Reddit, that's it, right? And then after him, there was that fraud Special Nick, and I don't give a fuck. He's a fraud. He came out and started saying some shit, and then others started piling in on it just to get the clicks and the likes
Same
and all
views
that kind of
and
stuff,
Halo
and it's just blown up from there. And then and now they're starting to walk it back. If you checked out Twitter today, this Nate the Hate guy has said that report is inaccurate.
Yeah.
The others probably won't do it, but you know that
He
a
knows
lot
why
of
he's
it's just made up.
backtracking because he knows now Xbox. He knows that he's lying, and now he's thinking of repercussions now, and he's backtracking now because
Pete does have a great question for the chat, which is, and for us, I think, who has sold their Xbox yet? You want to know the truth? I tried to sell it, and no one wanted to buy it. To be honest, I did. I as soon as I heard the news that Xbox was dead, I went on and tried to sell it. But then all in the comments for the sale of the product was Xbox is dead came back, and I was really disappointed, honestly. But yeah, I wanted to get a PlayStation 5 so I could play all my Xbox games on there, even though I hate the PlayStation controller, because suddenly the rest of the generation is not going to exist, and people were having massive crybaby fits over nothing because we don't know anything yet. It's all rumors. Until they come out and actually tell us what is happening, it's all conjecture, it's all speculation. And I just want to kind of point out to Satya Nadella's point. I think he made a comment about how they regretted pulling out of Windows phones as the hardware side of things. I don't think Xbox as a console is going anywhere yet until the technology surpasses what native hardware can do. I think we're fine for this gen. I think we're fine for next gen. And
Satya regrets
brand.
that, by the way.
He does regret it. They regret pulling out of the Windows hardware. I think that's the biggest showing. Like, I think they would have the same regret if they suddenly annexed and got rid of Xbox as a whole. Yes, they're making money and they can have their third-party titles and so on and so forth, and they can make that money that way. But I don't think Xbox is going anywhere as a whole. And the knee-jerk reactions to I'm canceling everything and the sky is falling, and suddenly, I'm going to go down PlayStation's route because I feel safe in knowing that's going to be there. PlayStation physical hardware isn't going to be here forever. Technology is going to surpass that to the point where you wouldn't need that. And they're modeling what the industry is doing at a moment, which is heading digital and moving away from finding other ways to access it, using the cloud and streaming and everything like that. So if you think that it's just Xbox, you're insane.
Agree. I agree 100%. And I agree.
Why would you give all your, why would you give all your money to someone who's been sabotaging your business for the last 10 years?
Exactly right. It doesn't. It
100%.
never really. None of it really made any sense to me. And I think with the games that they've announced, I think they're going to be exclusive. But there's going to be games that they do bring out that will be multi-platform. I mean, they just purchased APK. A lot of those games that they're probably working on in the background, most of them will probably be multi-platform, and that's probably what it is. I've got no problem with that because they're unannounced and they're not the Halos and they're not the Starfields that have already existed. I would be pissed if
part
they
of your
put
brand pillars, right?
yeah, I would be pissed if they put Halo on PlayStation because that's an Xbox game. Because that was even one of the rumors that came out during the week, and I was like, what? No fucking way, that's not true. But it's pissing me off because if it did, I would be upset about that because that's an Xbox game. It's not, it's not a PlayStation title. But again, if it's unannounced games that they're working on in the background that we haven't heard anything about, and then they decide to say, hey, this is coming to PlayStation as well. Okay, all right, fine, whatever. Like that, it is what it is. But you've got a benchmark now. You can't change that, in my opinion. And that's where everyone's getting upset. But then throwing all this other shit in to, during the week just made it just sort of boil over
Just
and
compounded and magnified, like just continued.
It has. But what it's done is because look, it is upsetting in a way because it's kind of the brand identity. All right, so I get that, but at the same time, I think it's exposed a lot of people as well. I'm not going to put any other names out there, but I think it has sort of gone, well, are you really Xbox fans or you just got that same mentality as the PlayStation fanboys of I don't want you to have this on your platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think get it.
It's a thin line.
I get it totally as a business what they're doing. If they want to put games third party, I get that as business. Because I think that's what people are not understanding, that they're too engrossed in the console aspect and thinking, there's a console war and we need to sell consoles. It's all about, but it's both companies are a business. They need to make money, need to make revenue, profit, and so I think the whole console thing is sort of a player-made concept, just to, I don't know, it's like a dick sort of competition, how long's your dick, my dick's longer kind of thing, and it's just pointless. It's irrelevant, especially from Microsoft, who are now the biggest company in the world. The console war really doesn't sort of, they're not concerned with the numbers of the consoles sold. Do they want to sell consoles? Yes, I think they do still want to sell consoles, because at the end of the day, it's a platform. And they have sold, let's say, a minimum 20 million Xbox Series X's. That's still 20 million. That's still that's still a big number. People scoff at it, that's shit, that's crap, and then they compare it to PlayStation. But you still, no one says like Pepsi have only sold this compared to Coca-Cola. You don't go, Pepsi should just quit selling drinks. No, or any company that's second or whatever, or sell a certain amount. No one ever says, right, yeah, they're not first, they should just quit. It's just not how just marketing or business or anything works in life. And 20 million is still a number and still a decent number, and it's still a platform of which to sell your product with. So I don't think they would ever quit on that. So that's just a ridiculous statement.
You wouldn't put all your games on PlayStation anyway, outright as a whole thing.
No, I don't think Sony would allow anyway.
You're basically going, hey, we're handing you a monopoly.
They wouldn't say no.
Is not good for the industry.
Would they?
They say no to Game Pass. They don't want Game Pass on PlayStation, but they'll take a game. I don't see why not, because they'll still get, 20% or whatever.
30%, but then Xbox gets 70% of all those games.
Well, I mean, they do it with Minecraft. They do it with...
Call of Duty.
COD is...
Call of Duty. Yeah. And PlayStation's already showing, and as they said before, if they lose Call of Duty, they lose all their first party, don't they? They did say that because it funds their first party games, and we're already seeing that they've cancelled first party games. They're losing first party games as a result of that. So do you think now going forward they'll think, let's just have more Xbox first party games on their platform and less PlayStation first party games on their platform? Do you think that's their future? Did we just have the PlayStation platform, the PlayStation console will have more Xbox first party than PlayStation first party? Can you imagine that as a future of PlayStation?
Maybe.
Because all the revenue will be going to PlayStation, and as I said before, what will that do for Xbox? Your games are on PlayStation, you're worthless as a company. The amount of revenue they'll be getting, they can release a console and completely undercut PlayStation. They can go, how much is your console? How much is it for? Oh, 500. Oh, we're going to sell our console for 100. How are you going to manage that? Well, you fund our games. You fund our console. All your players are funding everything that we do. So we completely undercut you. Goodbye. Just like they did basically with Sega. You know what I mean? They would just completely undercut everyone. It's just, I don't think PlayStation. I don't think if they're clever, they wouldn't allow them to do that. And I don't think they would.
Look, Microsoft/Xbox are their own worst enemy. They've always tripped over their own feet. Yeah. Messaging, lack of advertising. I always see PlayStation shit. I don't care for PlayStation shit, but it's always coming up. I barely ever see Xbox stuff. I have seen an increase over the last couple of months, but it's nowhere near in the same vein as the PlayStation stuff. You hear people in other countries, especially over in Europe, that say we don't see any Xbox advertising at all. Like, they just need to advertise their shit.
That's true.
They just need to put their stuff out there. They need to flood the countries with their advertising, YouTube, buses, trains, buildings, whatever they can. Pornhub, there you go.
Yeah.
Anything just to
PlayStation
flood
consoles have the monopoly on.
They need to flood it to the point where it's kind of sickening. Honestly, just to get it out there, because they should be selling more than what did you say? 20 million Xboxes this gen?
Yeah, I just said that as a number.
But it should be higher.
It was more than that. It's like
it probably is. I went for the minimum.
30 to 40.
I went for the minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's PlayStation apparently got?
50 to 60.
50 to 60.
Yeah.
So and I saw a tweet saying that apparently PlayStations have been selling Xbox 2 to 1 again. But it doesn't seem to be the case.
In
But
some markets, 3 to 1.
by now, Xbox should be close. They should be closer than what they are. And it's around messaging, it's around advertising and lack thereof.
But it's also the games, right? We're at a point now where they're going to have a lot of games. They're going to be delivering on what is expected and what they should.
Well, they've already started,
last gen. Yeah. But it's still going to take a little while for the mind share and every market to change and everything like that to change.
They got to force change though, and they're not doing it.
They do, but you know what people are like. They don't like change, and so unless you can tell them.
Come on, man!
it's good
Xbox
for
has
them-
been around for 20 years.
Yeah, but they had a really bad last gen,
They did, but
and they lost a lot of consumer, I guess, trust in that space, and so there's always someone in the back of the mind, and these rumors flare up. Like this rumor that's flared up this week has just gone and shown people do not have as much faith in the Xbox brand as they should. They're not as diehard as Sony people in the sense of Sony can do or PlayStation can do whatever they want, and people are still going to stick around.
that's exactly what happens.
Yeah,
That's exactly what happens.
But
They do
Xbox
anything and
gamers
everything, and they still say more, please.
aren't the same. The hardcorers, for the most part, we've seen some people this week that maybe aren't as have as much faith in Xbox as you would assume that they would. But I kind of want to hear what Silent has to say, because you've been very silent on this matter so far while we all talk. Yeah, I had to. It's right there in the name.
It's fair. I'll take it. I like to sit back and just kind of observe the chaos and observe the conversation, so then I can put together a decent rebuttal.
GPT going in the background telling you
Yes,
just
exactly.
what key points you want to hit.
I've got my phone. I'm like, break down this conversation for me to key points. You can do that stuff. So there are a few things I do want to bring up, right? Because you guys mentioned the numbers in regards to the sales numbers between the consoles. I want to bring back up and remind people the fact that Sony counts the PS Portal, the VR. They count all of those as hardware.
The VR.
So the PS Portal, that's $200, is considered hardware for them. So those numbers that we see nowadays are not necessarily dead set to just console. Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind, is that was, what was it? It was like 3 months ago or something. It was right around the launch of it. They're like, we're counting this as hardware. So just keep in mind those numbers don't always match up to what the true story is. It also doesn't match up to the fact, like, you have to look at their wording, right? Units sold versus units shipped. Because you can have a metric fuck ton of those things in the warehouse. Sorry, pardon the language. You can have a massive warehouse of PS5s. That doesn't mean you sold anything. Like, good job, you've got a bunch of paperweights until they eventually sell. That's awesome. Good for you. And then you mentioned in regards to like marketing and stuff, and Microsoft has had moments in the past where they have been good at it. It's been a long time. You look at the Peter Moore era, right?
Yep, exactly.
I remember seeing the marketing when I was at like a Real soccer game out here. Like, I'd see it rolling around the marquee, around the soccer field. You saw it in real steel when they were joking about like Xbox 720. You saw Xbox out and about. It was around. It was in the
Worldwide
UK.
marketing, though, is not as good as it should be.
No, and it realistically is never.
You just saw Elite and Panda up the tree.
Yep.
Honestly.
I feel like they don't put a lot of importance into it, into the marketing side of things. I think realistically, to their detriment, they also don't always put a lot of precedence into the communication, right? There are a lot of things that could have been said, a lot of things that could have been said better, more detailed in certain instances to avoid some of these pitfalls we've run into.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is. Like you guys said, they continue to step on the rake over and over again. It's a thing they do. It's like in their DNA. It's like they're hell-bent to do it at some point during a generation, if not multiple times during that generation. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just going to ask a question is, do you think that it was a smart move waiting till next week to have the conversation, or should they have dealt with it right away, knowing that it would have been very reactive and people had all their emotions and everything like that, whereas things have died down a little bit and we're seeing the conversation change again and people are starting to process and think about it rather than just emotionally react? What do you think was the better of the two options?
I'd say that I'm probably of two minds on it, right? Right off the bat, like when all this stuff started to happen, like in our personal chat where we're hanging out talking stuff, I was like, you know what? Like, this would be a really good thing to get ahead of. Now, some things, right? Like if it's a small rumor thing or something, whatever. Like, leave it to the next time you have a showcase or whatever. This was a pretty sizable incident. These type of things, like, you want some sort of damage control or some sort of like PR out there to try and work with it. For me personally, I've seen companies, I've been with companies where bad things happen, and the best way to do it is like try and be transparent as much as you can up front. Put a band-aid on it for now and try and work out the kinks later or whatever you can do. They didn't do that to an extent initially.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of that, I do like the idea of Phil Spencer sending out a message saying, bitch, you're going to wait till next week when I tell you what's going on. Instead of, we're holding a conference tomorrow so we can appease you and take care of your fears. So it's like, I get both sides of it. Personally, I did enjoy the baller move of being like, next week, you'll get the info when we give it to you. I do think, honestly, that does give some people to actually process, right? Like, it does give them time to actually look into it, think about it a little bit. Cooler heads prevail, right?
I think
And so, like, this
open
is...
to listening because we want to know. Like,
Yes, exactly.
They also need to get their messaging, like, crystal clear. And
Yes.
they need time to
Yeah.
do that. They need
This-
time to get
can't
those
have
words
anyone
right.
misinterpret it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, someone
this
will.
is an important moment for them. This is a very important moment for them. Now, like we were talking about earlier, like, I'm in the ecosystem. there are probably very few things that would negatively impact me to a point where I'd be like, I'm out. Like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. That being said, also, if something really aggressive, really egregious came out, it's not like the ecosystem's going away tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm going to suddenly be like, that's it, I'm selling all my Xboxes, blah, blah, blah. Like,
We've got the rest of the
let's be
generation
realistic.
to wait out, right?
Yeah, like, let's be realistic. Things aren't just going to suddenly disappear if something egregious happened. I don't think it is. I honestly think a lot of it, again, was based on engagement. There's a lot of people sharing a bunch of rumors that really just should not have gone out the way they did. And shame on pretty much everyone who put them out there. Like, whether you had a small piece of information that was true with all the other stuff coming out or not, shut your mouth for it right now. It's not your news to deliver. Especially with if
Twitter this whole week.
it's been so
I don't
quiet.
wanna
There's
s-
nothing.
I don't want to spread any misinformation. I want to talk about what's actually going on. The only time I'm
I'm
talking
just,
about this is here today.
I've just been watching. Ultimately, like, unless I'm on a show, I've just been kind of watching, because I'm just curious, like, who's going to be the next person that chooses to destroy their relevancy over something that, yeah, like, just sit back, pick your fights and stuff. But it's like, there are some people who have really put their personality, their persona, all those things right out there in the line of fire, and have either like firebombed their credibility or have had complete breakdowns. And for some of those people, like, you know who I'm talking about. I hope, if there's other stuff going on, because it feels like there's more going on than just this situation. I hope that if there's situations like that, that those people maybe go see someone. Like, maybe try and address some of the other things that are going on, because it feels like there's some stuff that those people are dealing with. Yeah, there's some deeper issues that maybe you need to go see someone and actually talk to someone about those issues. Because if this little moment of something that you couldn't control, because you're not an employee of that company, you're not one of the decision makers of that company, if that affects you to that point, you probably should see someone just to make sure that you're in a good mindset, like in a good spot. And that might sound like, it might sound cruel,
what the hell are you
but
doing there? Like,
yeah, but yeah, it just and to go back to what you guys are saying in regards to like kicking the games out third party, things like that. The way that I see it with these guys is very similar to when I worked for Pepsi. Way back in the day when I was there with them, like, yeah, Coke is usually like 2-1 against Pepsi. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Coke is the bigger brand. But what did Pepsi do to try and stay relevant? In different markets, they picked up stuff like Cadbury Schweppes. They brought up 7-Up. They brought up all these different things so they could diversify their portfolio. So that way they were still relevant in those markets. It's the same thing that I see with Microsoft. Okay, even if the consoles go away, guess what? I can still play my Xbox on my ROG Ally. I can play it on my computer. I can play it on my phone. I can play it on the Xboxes I already own. I have access to it in more locations now than I had even just a few years ago. So even if things go a certain way, it's not like the brand is going anywhere. You still have access to these things. Game Pass is still something that's available to you. You can access these things. It doesn't mean that just because they've made a different maneuver that all of a sudden, like, it's game over. They are trying to diversify their portfolio because they want to get to more gamers. So even if a few games go to PlayStation, even if all the games go to PlayStation, which I highly doubt, but even if something like that happened, Microsoft makes money off of those sales, which means that then they can further invest in their own development studios to continue to be relevant in that space. Sorry, that was a really long tangent.
No, you're right. Well, you're the guest, so and it's better to hear from you than Elite and Red. So
Yeah,
you know.
definitely better than me.
I,
Yeah.
dis-
But
I disagree.
still think
I don't grow
whatever's-
tired of your guys' voices. I grow tired of my voice.
Well, yeah, because you have to live with yours. But just real quick, so what I sort of part of what I was saying is I think that they need to keep what's exclusive, and then anything new is up to them.
Yep.
I won't have that attachment to as an Xbox fan. You know what I'm saying? I know that kind of might sound a bit wishy-washy or counterproductive or whatever, but that's how I feel about it as an Xbox fan. I hope they never go out of consoles because I don't want to play on PC. I don't want to play on
That's fair.
On other devices. Worst case scenario that I'll have to build a PC, put it where my Xbox is, and use an Xbox controller and still play it through the TV. Worst case scenario, but I don't really want to do that. I like to have, because I like to collect consoles as well. So I like to have it there.
Controllers are going
and that's just
anywhere.
me.
They
No, I know the
sell so
controllers
much
won't.
money on controllers.
Yeah.
But-
It's ridiculous.
But I get what he's saying, though, right? And it's part of the reason why I'm not much of a PC guy myself. Like, I have a system that can play everything just fine. But personally, for me, I would rather play on the consoles. Because when I sit here at this desk, I think, okay, I'm in podcast mode. Or, okay, I'm in work mode. Or whatever. It's not comfortable to me the same way as it is if I just jump on the couch or I pull out like a handheld or something like that. It's a mindset thing, but it's more than that, because like, you know, Ashtray, if you play a game on PC, you have to go into your settings. You decide that you want to tweak it a little bit because you're like, oh, well, it looks good, but
Your
it could look
bios aren't
better.
up to date. Your game
And
isn't
so
on
then,
load.
yeah, so then you start advancing some of the settings because you're like, oh, well, it could look better. And then you put it to a different resolution, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, now it runs like shit. So then you're back there trying to change the ambient occlusion, the frame rate, you're trying to change the super sampling, all these different things because you're like, oh, well, I want to make it work just fine. If I sit on the couch, I load up my console, it plays how it plays. Straight up, no caveats, no nonsense. I jump in, I play the game. It's and PC has gotten better in some of those strides. There are certain systems, I think even Nvidia has like a loader where you can go in there and it'll just set it up based on your system specs. And it's usually pretty accurate. But it's not the same. It's not the same as sitting down playing a console like we've done for all these years.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'm more of a console gamer. It's just ease of use.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think Xbox is going anywhere anytime soon. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, like Satya regrets them pulling out of Windows Phone market. I think they would do the same thing here, because there is a market for it. There are people who will purchase it. It is a way to engage with people who aren't willing to play games on
It's
PC.
an option.
It's an option. And it also means that you continuously push competition on Sony so they don't have a monopoly. Yeah, or a duopoly in that respect. But Nintendo's doing their own thing. So the conversation is never really Nintendo in that conversation because they are just kicking it and doing great on their own. Yeah.
It'd be good to see Sega
don't-
come back into the console space, but they never will. But that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because
They're doing
I could just see Xbox and Sega teaming up together and just helping each other. And yeah, it'd be
I think
pretty epic.
that's going to happen anyways.
I don't think they're going to make
Have a
hardware.
good working relationship.
I
Games-wise, they'll
don't
share stuff, but
I don't buy necessarily a world where I see them being acquired. However, they obviously have a very deep relationship, and I would not be surprised if moving forward, just like what we've seen recently for the last couple of years, that relationship's going to grow, and that will probably be one of the best places to access the Sega catalog.
yeah. Oh, well, I think Sega's a bit of a strategic partnership with Xbox. Obviously, they're going to still put their games everywhere, but like, yeah, I think that having them around and having a good relationship between the two of them is key for a lot of the gaming going forward, and especially to sort of be against PlayStation and what they offer. because there's bad blood between Sega and PlayStation, obviously. So it's good that they've got that on the Xbox side of things, and we're seeing a lot of games going into Game Pass too from Sega.
Very quickly, if Elite is listening, the reason why we can't hear you is you're actually not in the studio. System.
Yeah, he dropped out again.
Re-pop the link in, and then you'll drop back in again. No one can hear you because you're not here. Poor Elite.
Poor Elite.
So is he still coming up on the stream, but just not?
His window's blank because it's not pulling anything, so his name's still there. He's just not there.
Elite. This guy's got to figure out how technology works.
We can't hear you because you're not here. You're in the UK, wrong country. No, I'm kidding.
If he can get back in soon, because we haven't heard his thoughts on this third-party stuff and exclusives going to PlayStation. So, not that it matters, because it's just a lot of in it sorted governor.
Yeah.
Sort of stuff anyway.
Bunch of didgeridoo. I think
that's
I use that, right? Son of a...
Yeah.
Bunch of drop bears.
That's Australian as well.
Yeah, drop bears. There. Son of a...
I think you mean badgers. Is it badgers are in the UK?
Badgers are American too.
Yeah.
No, what's the
Yes.
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Oh, you're in. You're in. Okay, 1 second. I will just
It's such a muppet.
I will adjust and fix what I need to fix. So give me a second. So that people can hear you. Give me one.
We've been going for nearly 2.5 hours, by the way.
Yeah, we'll need to.
It's been fun.
It has been.
I don't mind. I'm just chilling around the house. So like I'm all for it. Whatever you guys want to do.
Well, I've probably got maybe 20 minutes.
Close? No.
No. Good.
Dude, I do this just like I do my office meetings when I'm teleworking.
Yeah.
No pants.
Nothing
But it's
below
pants
the
off
waist.
Friday for
Yeah,
you
me
anyway.
and Ashtray did the same.
Back.
Yeah. I like the feel of leather on my sack, on my chair.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Anyway,
Very small sack.
let me go into... Yeah, I was going to say, because I've been trying to talk, but Red muted me. So I was going to say, they won't leave
I
the console
muted
space.
you.
It'd be a bad, a poor... It'd be a bad decision choice for them to leave the console space.
I'm going to mute you now. I feel like I should.
They won't give away 20, 30...
I haven't muted you. I haven't muted you.
You're so horrible
I
person.
wouldn't. I'm not that mean.
Okay. Eat your cereal. Yeah, I don't think they'll leave the console space because they've got... They will give away 20, 30, even though people say it's low numbers. That's 30 million consoles. They wouldn't just throw away 30 million units, platforms to sell games on, or Game Pass especially, which you're trying to preach. They'd be ridiculous to give that up. And Phil said they would never give that up. I mean, he might change his ways, but they'd be stupid to do that. And also said, I don't think they were going to go the third party. They're not going to put their games. I understand what exclusives mean. I think they might put old games on there. I think they might put CFEs on there, and I don't see why they wouldn't put it on there. It's been out for 6 years. Hey, I've got things to say, Australian. Hi-Fi Rush, would we miss Hi-Fi Rush going there? I think they might put on there. They will not be putting Halo on there. They will not be putting Gears on there. They will not be putting Indiana Jones on there. And then as a reference to talk about revenue and things need to be changed. I messaged Phil today. I didn't even see it. I put it on Twitter saying if you want more revenue, you need to make changes. There's 2 massive changes you need to make. Did you see that, guys? Did you see that?
Yeah.
My message to him.
Yeah.
One of them, it's very powerful, wasn't it?
No.
And, probably upset many people.
I fell asleep
powerful
reading
message.
it. It was.
I know, it was only 2 lines.
It was only 1 line. Yeah. I said you need to, because this is a thing, and our PlayStation fans show me they do this. You need to remove refunds from Game Pass. Why do they have refunds for Game Pass? Why do they allow people to get Game Pass for a month, play all the games on it for a month, and then get their money back? Why are they allowing that? Why the fuck? Why would you do that to your business? No other business allows you refunds on a subscription service. If you don't like it, you just end your subscription service. You don't then get a refund
The
on the month that
refunds are
you've
for
just
like
watched
people
all your
who have
TV for.
paid for like a year's worth, only use 6 months.
No,
unsubscribe after
no,
6 months, and then they've already paid for another 6 months, so they're like, "Hey, you can have that money back since you're not going to."
No,
be
you can
using the other
you
6
can
months.
refund after a month.
Can you? Are you sure?
Yeah, but what
Show
I'm
me.
trying to say is the
Yeah.
example here is like that's the idea behind it. Is someone who's purchased it.
That's the
for
idea
maybe
behind it, except that people are getting it just to play games for a month and then refunding it. Because you can
Well, if you've
refund
paid it
after
for a month and you've
You
only
get the
paid a
month.
month and you used it for a month, you can't refund Game Pass.
Yeah, you can. No, that's my point. You can refund it after a month.
Sure.
So you can get it for a month.
why?
Play all the games, and they've shown me doing it because they're playing Xbox games for free. They're getting Game Pass, playing all the games for a month, and then getting money back, refunding it. Because
That's if they've probably gone through, got a trial, started it on the trial, bought a month, and then refunded it and played what they wanted.
But
to.
Anyway.
this guy I've known for years.
But how
and he's
cheap
shown
could
me-
you?
he's
How
shown
Yeah,
cheap
no,
me-
could
right.
you be
20
though?
bucks
Like
or
it.
whatever.
Yeah, you're
very cheap. They're PlayStation fans. But yet they're still doing it. They're doing it.
you're literally talking like.
And also the other thing I said
yeah.
is the thing that affects all of us. Obviously, is share play. They're losing lots of money on share play. Obviously, PlayStation doesn't do this, but Netflix ended it recently. If they want to make lots of money, obviously they could cancel share play.
You mean
I know everyone's
game
going, "Oh,
sharing?
shit."
You can only share it with one other person
It's only one other. Yeah.
Yes,
until
Yeah,
they
and-
until they bring out Family Game Pass. It's a
Maybe.
great alternative.
See, that's the thing. I don't know if they will now.
Yeah, it
Nah, I
sure
don't think
feels
they
like
will.
it went pretty
They probably
quiet
won't.
after. Yeah.
yeah, I
Is
don't
that-
know they will because they're losing lots of money on share play. Think about how much money. Imagine, like, give an example. That you're selling 10 million games. That could potentially be 20 million games if there wasn't share play.
Yeah.
So,
So many people don't
they-
know how to use the game sharing feature.
Doesn't work for me.
just do it, why not? You're just doing it wrong.
I don't, that's what she said. But
I don't know.
my,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly
The
what's
share
happening.
play is losing them profits as well. So
But I
whether
got
they'll
Game
go back
Pass.
on that or not.
I got Game Pass
but yeah.
Ultimate, and I got normal Game Pass on my son's Xbox, and we're not paying for it. I don't know why I'm not getting charged, so I'm not saying anything.
Don't see. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
Delete
why.
this off of this episode so that.
Yeah, but
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Good
I
job.
don't know why.
Good job. I don't know how you did it.
Because
But
I'm like, how are you downloading these games? It goes Game Pass. I'm like, but I haven't paid for that in like a year for your console. And I've checked my bank account.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the money's not coming out. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
So
yeah.
it must be a glitch.
You
Because it's
know,
not
we need
ultimate,
to-
so I'm definitely not sharing it because mine is ultimate, and his
Hmm.
isn't because he can't get the exact same benefits that
his
I've
is
got.
just
Well, he
the
can't get
core
cloud,
version
right?
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no idea. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll mention it, but
Don't
yeah,
ruin
things like that they can
consumer-friendly
change.
practices, Elite, with game sharing. Because do you know what?
I'm not-
I pay
no,
for
I'm
Game
not.
Pass, and I get my games that way, and I game share with my sister that way. And then the
Yeah, I
only
game
games that
share
I
with my
really
son.
buy that I
Yeah.
game share are third parties.
Yeah, exactly. I do exactly the same thing. So yeah, it is anti-consumer, but
They're
it
going to be
is
making
the
all their
most
money from
best
PlayStation
way they can make
gamers.
money.
They
Netflix
can
recently
ride
done
it
it,
out
and
and
they
keep it.
reported record profits. Yeah.
yeah,
So-
true. But let's just
That'll
sort of
be-
go back to the
that'll be
topic
their
real quick.
future.
So the
Go.
exclusives going third party, it's been rolled back a little bit. What do we want to hear from Phil on Monday or whenever he's going to actually announce or talk to us? What do you guys? What are you expecting him to say? What would you like him to say?
I reckon he'd say something along the lines of Red Dragon was right. Red Dragon's amazing. Everything he says is just gold.
MBG for the win.
Oh God!
King Fresh, follow him.
Oh, please no! Please no!
Phil's going to tell us that he sold his Xbox and he's getting a
Imagine he comes
PlayStation.
out.
I mean, he's already got a PlayStation,
Yeah,
but he
yeah,
sold his
so
Xbox
both.
because they're going
He's
third
gonna-
party.
He's gonna tear the shirt, and there's gonna be a PlayStation shirt right below. Yeah.
Yeah, we've acquired PlayStation, suckers. No, I'm kidding. That would be
And a helicopter, and they have PlayStation written down his penis, and new helicopter. You can see
I-
his helicopter in.
I honestly think we're going to hear
You're
more
fucked.
about like maybe very specific, like gas games, like on certain online multiplayer games, probably maybe that's what the future looks like, to go third party. So be everywhere, to allow those games to find an audience and not die after 5 seconds. So I think that's really what it's going to be. I really think we're still going to see your standard single player exclusives as an incentive to be part of that ecosystem. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I feel like maybe there'll be the odd games that is a case-by-case basis that they go, hey, actually, we want to put this out here on this other platform. So Hi-Fi Rush, who cares if it goes to Nintendo or PlayStation? I think it's a really good game and deserves more of an audience there. It's not a deal breaker. If it's every game, that's your deal breaker.
Yeah, I know, but where do you draw the
It's
line?
also that. It's
That's why I don't think it
maximize
should be anything
sales.
existing.
It's to maximise sales, though.
that's
Surely, when
probably
your
gonna-
product reaches maximum sales, you just move it. Especially after a year. It's been out a year. It's been out over a year now. Especially, surely, would it really downgrade the Xbox platform if this game randomly just went to PlayStation? Would all the people now, that were going to buy it for Xbox a year ago, but didn't for whatever reason, go, oh no, I'm not going to buy an Xbox now because now it's on PlayStation? I don't think they would. It'd just be extra revenue. There's no one going, I was going to buy an Xbox for Hi-Fi Rush a year ago.
Okay, so what if they did it with
I'm not.
with Halo Infinite then? How would you feel about that?
What, the multiplayer? What they could do is put the multiplayer
campaign.
on PlayStation, but not the campaign. They could put because remember they're two separate entities.
They are.
So they could put the multiplayer on PlayStation, but not the campaign, which would be clever. Am I right?
Elite, he's asking you, what if they didn't do that? What if they put the campaign?
They won't put the campaign.
No, I know they won't, but this is where I'm saying, where do you draw
Yeah.
the line? It's okay for Hi-Fi Rush, but not for Halo.
Because
I
Hi-Fi
just don't
Rush
think.
was only a shadow
Hi-Fi
drop
Rush
indie game,
didn't
though,
make-
wasn't it, really?
Isn't a
Not
tentpole
indie, but,
thing
you know.
of Xbox, right? It's not,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
It's been out, what, a year?
been out a year. It's a small minor
Halo's,
game
what,
that's a
20
shadow
years
drop.
old?
Yeah, I still think if it's exclusive, it's got to be exclusive, and that's why it should be anything new. Then they can do whatever they
I
want.
don't think they'll put
Technically,
things like
Hi-Fi
Indiana
Rush was a
Jones,
new
which could
IP.
potentially be. Yeah, it's a new IP.
Yep.
It was small.
But it launched exclusively. So, anyway,
Yeah.
Silent?
But was it planned to be exclusive before they bought Bethesda? That's
it
the
doesn't
thing.
matter.
Have they
Doesn't
already
matter if it
have
was-
they already got a PlayStation 5 version of it?
They probably did. They probably had another version.
Yeah.
That's probably why you got those.
So maybe they're thinking
t-shirt
let's just release
screenshots.
it. Yeah,
That's probably all
So
that is.
Maybe they've got it, so they thought let's just release it, make money from it.
Look, maybe, but I don't know. I think you're going to have two
We'll
groups
find
of
out.
people that'll argue these little.
Yeah, a group that sell their
Details.
Xboxes and a group that won't.
I wouldn't sell my Xbox, that's for sure.
Let's just wait and see, right?
Why would you
Silent,
sell
what
your
are your
Xbox
thoughts?
because of that? It's weird.
I don't know. People apparently have.
It is pretty weird.
Yeah.
People are getting all up in their feels. Ashtray.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Would you sell your Xbox?
I'm gonna
Would anyone sell their Xbox here?
No.
no.
Would you change
I'm
your
not hard up
ecosystem?
for money.
If some of these games went to PlayStation, would you go, right, I'm buying a PlayStation and selling my Xbox?
I hate their
I don't
ecosystem.
see the logic
You
of that
can't
either.
trust them. Hack Station
Yeah.
5.
You can't. Yeah, you cannot
But
trust
here's the thing though, right? Like, why would you leave this ecosystem to then go to another ecosystem on a
And pay more
console
money.
them to play the same games.
when you're going to pay more money for their service, but also
Yeah.
you can get most of their stuff on computer anyways, and they're trending towards going to PC more often moving forward. Like, if there was anything you were going to go to, PlayStation doesn't make any sense. If that's what
PC.
the move is, if you're angry, you'd go to a PC because that's where everything's
You
going to
would
end
do,
up
yeah.
at the end of the day anyways. This is probably going to make some people unhappy. But personally, I don't care how many games go over to the PlayStation because again, it supports the ecosystem that I prefer. So like even if it's there, Microsoft's making the money for that. So I still get to play the games. So I don't care. Like you could play your games on a damn waffle maker or something if it had a browser. I give zero shits. Like you go ahead and play your game wherever you want. I can play it on the hardware, and it's usually a better experience than some of the streaming and some of that stuff. But it's like, if the choice is there, if some of these games get out and people get to enjoy more of these, so be it. Like I don't really care that much. I don't get as tribalistic about it. Like I totally agree with what Ashtrey's saying. Is I do think there should be some exclusivity to a
Yeah, I
point.
do too. I get that side. Yeah.
But at the same
definitely
time, I
100%.
also understand that they are a business. They are wanting a return in investment, right? Their ROI is a key indicator for them. So whether that's what Phil wants, that doesn't matter because he's got bosses above him and they want that return on investment. So whatever happens, like it's going to happen at some point, some way. To what extent, who knows? But I don't know. I'll still play games where I enjoy playing them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, Phil's built the brand up over the last 10 years. He's obviously doing something right. It's got to be making some kind of money. They've been saying that Game Pass is profitable.
They're making
then
money,
this
yeah.
week, they're saying it's not. Like, it can't just change on you like that. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think, if anything, I understand Microsoft want more profit. This is a business. That's just how it works. But you got to think, Satya would be like, Phil, you're doing a good job. Just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll support you, basically. We'll stay out of it. We'll support you. And I think that's more the case here than, now Microsoft has taken over and they're going to ruin it. I just don't think it's going to work.
Actually,
Not yet.
I can see why Game Pass could suddenly lose profitability. It could be based on in the past. It could be, remember, it's to do with content, so they might not have been spending as much on content. So they might have had X amount of games and sort of first party games and whatever games on there. Now they've got more games, more first party games, and more money they're putting into it, games on it, but they're not getting the revenue back from it. If you know what I mean?
They've got to be,
if
right?
the subscriptions are not improved.
That's a
But
cash
that's
cow
not on
right
Game
there.
Pass.
No, but they're getting revenue from it that they can
Yeah.
use to.
But that's not revenue not related to Game Pass though. So that's
but
why
they
I think
use that
Game
to
Pass
fund
is not
Game
making
Pass.
the money. But yeah, that's what they need to do. Well, they need to put COD in Game Pass. That's what they need to do.
Well,
as
I
soon
don't know
as
if they
possible.
will. I've got to get going, actually,
sure
guys. We've been
doesn't feel
doing this
like
for
it.
ages.
It's been ages. Yeah, I think we need to wrap up the show. I agree.
Yeah, because I've got to go out in the next half an hour.
Where you going? We'll come with you.
No.
Take me along. I'll come along with my straw.
See, there's no thinking music. It was just straight no.
He doesn't want us with him on that one. I get it. I get it.
Yes, it's just
I see how this goes. Okay.
ever since he's had a hat, he's changed.
I've always had hat.
Or have you?
Yeah.
Hats off to you, Ashtray. Hats off to you.
Red, what
That's
have we...
just
We've
awful. That's an awful
discussed
joke.
this before, Red. Okay.
Yeah,
We're
that's
about to leave.
stop
I
it.
had
Stop
to
the
give you a
jokes.
parting gift.
It's not even a joke.
They're not jokes, that's the thing, yeah. Jokes are funny.
It's just an observation
No,
that is clearly
but
wrong.
just don't know.
Anyway, I think it's time we wrap it up.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Someone's on meth. But anyway,
thank you, Silent Cipher, for joining us today. Let everybody know where they can find you, and then we're gonna start kicking off.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for listening to my bullshit and my ramblings and shenanigans. I appreciate the invite, and it's great talking with you guys. Hopefully we can do it again soon. We got to have you over there on Xbox International at some point if we can get the schedules to work out, because obviously our time zones are a little bit iffy, but hopefully we can get something going. As far as where you can find me on Wednesdays at Xbox International at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me every other Friday on Double Barrel Gaming Podcast. That's Mr. Boomstick's channel, Boomstick and Friends. Besides that, you'll start finding me on Fiverr doing some voice work stuff here, hopefully pretty soon. I've got most of the things set up. And you'll find me on Twitter being an asshole because I enjoy it so much and everyone just gets so bent out of shape. So thank you again for having me. Chat, you were awesome. And yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's great to have you on board. Yeah, we love having you here.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, it's great. We'll get you back soon.
Thank
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
me and my poll. My poll ended. How long will HD2 last? Sorry. 1 month is 63%, 2 months is 11%, and 3 months is 26%. So people think it only lasts.
I think 3 months. I went with 3 months. I'm being optimistic because I really want to play that game in 3 months' time when it's less buggy.
1 month. There we go, baby. Oh yeah.
1 month winner.
All right, guys, I gotta go. We'll do this again next week. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, why not? May as well.
Yeah, might as well. We've done it every other week for however long.
Boba Fett said I had no substance. Oh.
Damn.
That's something you're gonna have a discussion with him about.
Damn, that's harsh.
Oh, it's really harsh.
But anyway.
But also,
accurate.
if you agree in the chat very quickly, just let Elite know.
Substance and what? I'm confused.
Thank you to another great show, chat.
I'll be right on Wednesday. I'll be right
love
on
having
Wednesday.
You here.
Watch.
Awesome, and we've really appreciated having you this week, Silent. I'll catch you later at some point, Ashtray and Elite. Yep. I'll see you when I see you. That's me being.
But I'll send you pictures. Yeah.
I've actually got to really jump out now. All right. See you.
Ciao. Bye.
See you, man. Take care.
Okay. We don't care, Astray. Bye.
Okay, now that guy's gone.
Moving to I know, right?
Just
moving to the outro.
I know, he's so boring, isn't he? Australians. Oh, the accent. Oh.
All right. Bye, everybody.
It's like they want to be New Zealanders.
Well, I mean, everyone should. No. All right, outro.
That was a damn good show.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.